Chosen one, stop. I need you present for this, not half listening. Something has been building in you for weeks. A quiet pressure behind your ribs, a strange heaviness on some mornings, and an unexplained lightness on others. The sense that you are walking toward a door you cannot yet see. That sensation is not anxiety. It is recognition. A specific Sunday is approaching, and when it arrives, you are not going to wake up the same person who went to sleep. The version of you that has been holding everything together through the long years is getting ready to lay the weight down. And the version your life has been quietly building, the one you have not yet met, is getting ready to stand. I am not here to hype you. I am here to name what is already happening so you can recognize it when it crests. You were not pulled to these words by accident. Something arranged this. In the time we have together, I am going to show you the exact signs of the shift you have been dismissing, the name of what is emerging, and the one simple practice that carries you through the days between now and Sunday. Stay. This one is yours. Now listen to me. Before we go any further, I need you to give this the room it deserves. If something else is pulling at the corner of your attention, set it down for a little while. If you are around other people, put the soft headphones in. This is not for them tonight. This is for you alone. And if you have been moving too fast for too many days, I want you to take one slow breath with me. Just one. Through the nose on the way in, through the mouth on the way out. That one breath is the first line of agreement between you and what is coming. You did not find this tonight. This found you. And it found you at an hour your nervous system has been quietly asking for, even if your mouth has not yet said the words. Let me say the thing that can sound strange in a world that has trained you to distrust the word coincidence. You were guided here, not by a piece of code, not by a list of suggestions, not by the clever machinery that tries to predict what you want. Something older than machines has been arranging the quiet details of your life to bring you to this breath, to this sentence, to this moment. The people who love you have tried to help. The books you have read have helped a little. The prayers you whispered into your pillow at 2 a.m. have not been ignored. But there is a kind of message that only arrives when your spirit has become still enough to receive it. And your spirit has become still enough. That is why you are here. Look at the timing for a moment. Think about the string of small decisions that led you to this exact word at this exact hour. The thing you almost did instead. The thing you almost said yes to. The errand you meant to run. The call you almost took. Each one of those near misses was a door closing so a different door could open. You think you chose this. Part of you did. But a larger part of you was led. And the leading has a name. Call it God. Call it the source. Call it the part of the universe that knows your true name. Call it whatever your tradition has taught you to call it. The name is less important than the fact. The fact is, you are here on purpose. So, take another breath with me. Yes, good. This is the posture of receiving. Not rigid, not bracing, just open. And while your shoulders drop 1 more inch, I want to tell you exactly what you are walking into in the next little while. I am going to give you 3 things, and they are the 3 things your spirit has been asking for without knowing how to ask. The first is the clear naming of the 7 signs you are already living through, signs you have been feeling in your body and dismissing as random. By the time we have walked through them together, you will have something no casual conversation has been able to give you, language for the thing that has been happening to you. The second is the name of who you are becoming on the other side of this Sunday. Not a vague promise, the actual name. And the third is one simple practice you can begin tonight, something small and counterintuitive that will carry you through the days between now and the morning that changes everything. It is a 7-day protocol that I have seen work in the lives of chosen ones who were further behind than you feel right now. If you stay with me to the last word of this message, all 3 of those will be in your hands by the time you leave. Do not wander off. What is waiting at the end is the reason you were brought to the beginning. Now, come with me. Close the door of your busy mind for 1 minute and come with me to a morning that has not happened yet, but is closer than you think. You are in your bed. It is early, but not as early as you thought it would be when you fell asleep. The light coming through the curtain is a softer color than you are used to, not the harsh white of summer, not the thin gray of deep winter, but something in between, a light that seems to know you. You open your eyes, and the first thing you notice is that your chest does not feel heavy. You notice it specifically because it is not. For the first time in a long time, the weight that has been sitting on your ribs every morning for months, the weight that has become so familiar that you stopped calling it weight and started calling it Monday, is not there. You lie there for a moment wondering if your body is playing a trick on you. You test it. You take a breath. The breath goes all the way down. It reaches a place it has not reached in a year. You sit up. The room looks the same as it did last night. The same furniture, the same window, the same blanket. Nothing has been rearranged in your house. Something has been rearranged in you. You walk to the kitchen. The floor is cool under your feet. You can feel the grain of the wood, or the weave of the rug, or the tile of the morning. Your feet notice it, the way feet notice things when you are finally in your body, instead of hovering 2 inches above it. You reach for a cup. You pour something warm into it. Maybe coffee, maybe tea, maybe water that the kettle worked on while you were still breathing slow in the dark. The steam rises in that curl. It always does, and for the first time in months, you notice the curl. You actually notice it. You do not rush to the next thing. You stand with your hand wrapped around that warmth, and you let the warmth meet the cold palm, and your palm warms first, then the back of your hand, and then something deeper. And then it comes, the stillness inside your chest. Not the stillness of being too tired to feel, not the stillness of numb. A quietness like a room that has finally been cleaned, where everything that did not belong has been gently carried out, where the air moves without catching on the clutter, where you could sit on the floor and hear your own heartbeat and not be afraid of what it was saying. That quietness is the absence of the thing you have been carrying for years. The worry, the bracing, the low-grade dread that made you check the locks twice. It has laid itself down sometime between last night and this morning, and it did not wake you when it left. It simply finished its shift and walked out the back door. You breathe, and the breath goes deeper than it has gone in years. You did not try to make it go deeper. It just went, as if your ribs had been holding a secret, and the secret has been delivered, and there is nothing to hold anymore. And then you look up at your reflection in the dark window glass or the side of the kettle, and you see yourself, and for a split second you do not recognize your face. Not because you look different, because the person looking back at you is at peace, and peace has not been a word your body knew for a very long time. And there is something else in the reflection that you cannot quite name. A kind of softness around the eyes, a kind of fullness in the jaw that had been clenched for months. A certain quality in the posture, shoulders low, neck long, that people used to have in photographs from 100 years ago and that almost no one has anymore. You are looking at a person who has let go of something heavy, and the person is you. Outside the window, somewhere in the distance, the first warm thing of the season is arriving. If it is spring in your part of the world, it is the day the ice finally lets go of the branch for the last time. If it is any other season, do not worry about the literal weather. I am talking about the internal weather, The internal weather has turned. The frost that has been living under your sternum for a long season has gone, and it is not coming back the way it used to. Some winters end with a dramatic thaw. This one is ending with a quieter kind of permission. That is the morning I am talking about. That is this Sunday. I know how that sounds. I know the part of you that has been hurt by too many gentle promises is already raising its hand. It is saying, wait, slow down. I have heard language like this before, and it never came true. I want to honor that part of you. That part of you has kept you alive through disappointment. That part of you deserves respect, not dismissal. So I am not going to ask you to silence it. I am going to ask you to listen past it for a few minutes, the way you listen past the static on an old radio when you are trying to find the station that is actually playing music. Because the reason that scene is going to happen is not wishful thinking. The reason is, the work has already been done. You did not see it being done because it was being done underneath the surface of your days while you were busy keeping everything else from collapsing. But it was done. And the Sunday I just described is not a wish. It is a delivery that has been in motion for a long time, routed through a series of tiny, invisible exchanges, and it is finally arriving. Somewhere in your chest, right now, something just moved. A small muscle that had been clenched for months loosened 0.5 millimeter. You may not have noticed. Your body noticed. Your body has been keeping the score the whole time, and your body is the first to know. And if what I just described touched something true in you, if the scene of that kitchen did not feel foreign, but felt like memory, like a memory of a future your soul already lived once and is coming back to pick up, I want you to do one small thing. In the comments, type 777, not as proof to me, as a mark for you. A mark that says, I recognized the moment. Because writing down that you recognize something is part of how you keep from forgetting it later. And tonight, of all nights, is not a night to forget. Good, let us keep going. Now, I want to turn around and look backward, because before we can stand in the light of what is coming, we have to honor the dark we have been standing in. The hard season, the long stretch that you have been telling people was fine when it was not fine. The stretch where you smiled in the car on the way home and then sat in the driveway for 20 minutes before you could walk through the front door. The stretch where the ordinary things, making dinner, answering a message, choosing a shirt, suddenly required a strength you did not remember having to use before. That stretch. I see it. I am not going to pretend it was shorter than it was. I am not going to tell you it was secretly a blessing so you can skip ahead to the part where you feel better. That would be a cheap move, and you have been through too much for cheap moves. The stretch was long, the stretch was heavy. The stretch asked you to give more of yourself than you thought you had, and then it asked for more on top of that, and you gave that too. And then you were tired in a way that sleep could not touch. Let me name some of the shape of it, because when someone names it out loud, it stops taking up the whole room. There was the year the prayers felt like they hit the ceiling and stopped. You still said them. You still kept the habit. But something had changed about the quality of the connection, and you could not tell if heaven had moved or if you had. There was the year the relationships you thought were forever started to feel thinner, like they were made of paper. And you could not explain why a phone call with someone who used to feel like home now left you emptier than before it started. There was the year your own body felt unfamiliar. The sleep would not hold. The stomach would not settle. The skin seemed thinner than it used to be, more reactive to things that never used to bother you. There was the year you watched other people on screens, living lives that looked like yours was supposed to look, and you had to close the screen and sit very still until the comparison stopped cutting. There was the year the questions got quieter and the answers got quieter too. And instead of the loud existential crisis people write books about, you had something smaller and more corrosive, a slow, patient erosion of certainty, a long fade from who you used to think you were into a version that did not yet have a name. People asked how you were doing, and you said, "Fine." And fine became the most overused word in your mouth, and the word started to embarrass you. And eventually, you started to believe you actually were fine because the alternative was too much to explain. I am naming all of this because I want you to know I see it. You have been carrying something, and you have been carrying it alone. That is not a criticism of the people in your life. Most of them could not have held the weight with you, even if they tried, because the weight was not really made of things they could see. The weight was shaped like you. It was the weight of being the one who could not crack, because too many other people were depending on you not to. The weight of the one who held the family together when something cracked it. The weight of the one who kept showing up to work when part of your mind was still lost somewhere. The weight of being a chosen one in a moment in history that does not yet know how to recognize chosen ones. You have been asked to become something while the world has not yet learned the word for what you are becoming. And that kind of formation happens in silence, because there is not yet a public language for it. So you have been translating your own experience by yourself, night after night, and the translator has been exhausted. That translator is you. I want you to put the translator down for a few minutes. Let me do that part for a while. Let me name the shape of what has been happening in the dark so you can hear it in a voice outside your own head. Because sometimes the problem is not that you did not know what was going on. The problem is that you were the only voice saying it, and after a while, the voice starts to doubt itself. So, here is what has been going on. You have been in a formation season. Not a punishment, not a test of your worth, not a sign that you have failed somewhere you cannot remember. A formation season. A season where the part of your life that is still visible is the smaller part, and the part that is under construction is the larger part. And you have been feeling the weight of the larger part without being able to see what it is becoming. That is what the tiredness was. That is what the odd grief was. That is what the strange exhaustion after tiny social interactions was. Your system has been spending its resources on the foundation, not the facade, and foundations are heavy to pour. This is the reason some days felt so disproportionate to what was actually happening in your schedule. You woke up, went to the same place you always go, did the same things you always do, and came home feeling like you had run a marathon. That was not weakness. That was construction. Something was being built, the something you have not yet seen. And now we arrive at the reason I needed to say all of that first. Because the version of you that is about to wake up this coming Sunday did not appear out of thin air. The version of you that is about to wake up is the thing that was being built during the heavy years. The heavy years were not delay. They were the architecture of the emergence. And if I rushed you past the honoring of those years, you would walk into Sunday thinking the new self dropped out of the sky. The new self did not drop out of the sky. The new self was formed, slowly, painfully, invisibly, under the skin of the years you thought were wasted. Those years were not wasted, they were shaping the shape. Think of what just happened in your body when I said that. Something shifted, something softened. Something in your chest released a breath you did not know you were holding. That release is a signal, the signal of a truth that was waiting to be said to you in the right voice, at the right volume, at the right hour. The voice is mine, the volume is gentle, the hour is now. Before I take you deeper, I want to give you a tool for recognizing yourself in what comes next. As we move through the rest of this message, pay attention to the moments where your body reacts before your mind does. The small tightening, the small release, the sudden welling up behind the eyes, the moment a word lands in your stomach instead of your ears. Those are not decorations, those are confirmations. Your body has been keeping the score of this formation season for longer than your conscious mind has, and your body is going to recognize what is true for you before you have time to think about whether to agree. Trust the body's response. It is not trying to manipulate you. It is trying to tell you where you are in the story. And while we are here, I want to name something else, because I think it matters to you, even if you have not said it out loud. You have probably wondered, more than once over the last year or so, whether the journey you are on is real, whether you are special the way something inside you has whispered that you are. Whether chosen one is a word you have any right to wear. I want to tell you what I have learned about that question. The people who never ask whether they are chosen are usually the ones who are not. The question itself is the mark. The ache to matter in a specific way, to carry a specific assignment, to belong to a story larger than your comfort. That ache does not arrive in souls that were built for small lives. The ache is the thumbprint of the assignment. If the ache is in you, the assignment is in you. And if the assignment is in you, the formation has been real, the weight has been real, the silence has been real, and the emergence is going to be real too. I am going to say that one more time, more slowly, because I want it to settle into the bone. The ache to matter in a specific way is the thumbprint of the assignment. It is not proof of arrogance. It is proof of design. Now I want to return to the honoring of where you have been, because we are not done with that, and I do not want us to rush past it. Because some of you have been in a particular kind of hard that does not get named very often. Some of you have been holding up other people whose collapse would pull your whole world down, and you could not tell anyone how tired you were, because they needed you to be the strong one. Some of you have been fighting a battle inside your own head that looks invisible from the outside, and when you tried to describe it, people reached for words that did not fit, and eventually you stopped trying to describe it. Some of you have been watching a relationship fade in real time, a parent, a partner, a child, a friend, and you have been grieving the loss while the person is still physically here, which is a kind of grief that the world does not quite know how to name. Some of you have been financially stretched thin enough that the stretching has become part of your identity, and you have had to make peace with doing without and still find ways to stay generous, which takes a kind of strength that is not recognized anywhere. Some of you have been in seasons where nothing obviously went wrong, nothing dramatic, no disaster to point to, just a low-level, persistent sense that you were out of step with your own life, that you were showing up for days that did not quite fit you, that you were wearing skin that belonged to a smaller version of yourself, and the smaller version was suffocating. That kind of hard is harder to explain than any other, because you cannot point to an event. You can only point to a temperature. The temperature of your days was wrong, and you did not know how to fix it because the thermostat was inside you. All of that is real. All of that has been real. And I want you to hear me when I say that not one moment of it was wasted. Not one tear. Not one silent drive home. Not one sleepless 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. Not one time you ate dinner alone at your desk because the dining table felt too loud. Not one time you whispered help without anyone hearing it. None of it has been lost. All of it has been gathered. This is the part of the message where I want to pause with you. I am not going to fill the next few seconds with words. I am going to ask you to just breathe into what was just said, and let it be true for you for a moment. Let the years you have been through have a place to land. You do not have to explain them to anyone right now. You do not have to justify them. You do not have to be okay. You just have to let them be seen. Let One more breath, slower this time. And now, I want to pull the thread forward, because this message is not about staying in the honoring. The honoring was the first door. Now, we walk through it. The second door has something on the other side that will make the first door make sense. Here is what I mean. Everything I have said about the long season, the formation, the weight, the construction under the skin, all of that has been accurate, but not yet specific enough. There is a specific pattern to the kind of formation season you have been in, and the pattern has a shape, and the shape has a turning point, and the turning point is what this Sunday is. But I cannot show you the turning point without showing you the shape first. And the shape is not what most people think it is. Most people, when they talk about formation seasons, talk about them the way a person talks about a storm. You were in the storm, and then you came out of the storm. A before and an after. A linear crossing, but that is not how it actually works in a chosen one. In a chosen one, formation does not move in a straight line. It moves in something closer to a spiral, where the same themes come back around again and again, each time at a slightly higher altitude, each time with a slightly different weight. The themes feel familiar because they are the same themes, but each pass is doing different work. The first pass broke something. The second pass exposed what was broken. The third pass made room for something else. The fourth pass, and you may be on the fourth pass right now without realizing it, the fourth pass is the pass that delivers. That is when the new form arrives. That is when the Sunday shows up on the calendar of your life and says, here is where the work comes to ground. I want you to stay with that image for a moment, because I am going to come back to it. The spiral, the higher altitude version of the same theme, the fourth pass. But before I take you deeper into the spiral, I have to tell you about a woman who walked this exact shape a very long time ago, and whose name most of you have heard, but whose actual story has been flattened by 100 quick summaries. Her name was Ruth. And she is the reason I can describe the spiral to you, because she walked it. She walked it when the word for formation had not yet been invented, and she walked it without a map. And the map she left behind is the one I am going to open up for you next. But we have said enough for this first stretch. Let me give your spirit a moment to metabolize what has been laid down. Take a breath with me. Shoulders, jaw, good. When we pick back up, I am going to take you inside the shape of the formation season itself, and inside the life of the one who walked it first. And by the time we come out the other side, you are going to understand not just that you have been through something, but what that something has been, and why Sunday is the day it ends. Stay with me, the story is just starting to open. Welcome back. Take a breath first. That is right. We are just getting to the part that will start to make the earlier part make sense. Stay with me. Before the story of Ruth, before the word that explains Sunday, I promised you I would show you the shape of the formation season. The actual shape. Not a metaphor we borrowed from a storm or a classroom, but the shape your life has actually been taking. I want to do that first, because once you see the shape, everything else in this message lines up behind it, like soldiers behind a general. Here is the thing about a formation season. It does not come labeled. It does not walk into your life and introduce itself. It walks in wearing an ordinary costume. It puts on the face of an ordinary Tuesday. It sits down beside you on the couch. You look over, and you see an ordinary moment, and you do not realize until much later that the ordinary moment was the beginning of the thing. So, I want to hand you 4 sentences. 4 sentences that rearrange the furniture of your last 5 years. 4 sentences that take the things you called bad and show you what they actually were. I want you to receive them slowly. Let each one land before the next one arrives. Here is the first sentence. What you thought was delay was actually design. Every moment you have spent waiting for the thing to happen, the promotion, the relationship, the healing, the move, the call, the answer, every one of those waiting moments was not dead time. Everyone was working on you from the inside. The waiting was not the absence of the thing. The waiting was the training for the thing. The waiting was making you the kind of person who could hold the thing without dropping it. If the thing had come earlier, you would not have had the hands for it. The thing comes at the moment your hands are ready, not at the moment your hands are loud. Your hands have been getting quiet for a long time, and the thing has been watching them get quiet, and when they are quiet enough, the thing steps forward. Here is the second sentence. What you thought was silence was actually strategy. You have been wondering, some of you for years, why heaven has been quiet on the exact question you have been asking the loudest. You have been wondering why the answer you needed has not arrived. Let me tell you what I have seen. The silence you have been interpreting as absence has been strategy. Not cruelty, not indifference, strategy. Because if the answer had arrived while you were still asking the question at the volume you were asking it, you would have answered the question with the version of you that was doing the asking. And that version of you was not the one the answer was for. The answer was waiting for the right version of you to be the one who received it. And the right version has been under construction. The silence was the space the construction needed to happen in. The moment the right version of you stands up, the silence will break. And the breaking will not be a crack, it will be a river. Here is the third sentence. And this one is the hardest, and I want to go slowly with it. What you thought was failure was actually foundation. Because you have things in your story that did not go the way you wanted, things you tried, things that did not work, things you built that came down, things you invested in that did not pay back, things you believed in that turned out to be smaller than you hoped. I am not going to tell you those things were secretly successes. That would be an insult to what you went through. I am going to tell you what they actually were. They were foundation. A foundation is not glamorous. A foundation does not get photographed. A foundation is underground, but the house cannot stand without it. And the things in your life that went sideways, that did not deliver, that collapsed when you were counting on them not to, those were not failures of you. Those were the parts of the foundation getting poured. The parts no one sees, the parts no one celebrates, the parts that will hold up everything that comes next. Nothing you have been through has been wasted. All of it has been weight-bearing. And here is the fourth sentence. What you thought was invisibility was actually incubation. You have felt unseen. I know. For a long stretch of months, maybe years, you have been doing the work, showing up, staying faithful to the small things, and the world has not noticed. The people you thought would notice have not noticed. There were stretches where you asked, if all of this is so important, why does no one see it? Let me tell you what was happening. You were being hidden on purpose, not punished, hidden, the way a seed is hidden, the way a child in the womb is hidden. The way the most valuable things in the world are hidden during the period when they would be damaged by being looked at too closely. You were not overlooked. You were protected. The invisibility was the walls of the incubator. And incubation is always temporary. What is incubating now is ready to be seen soon. And when it is ready to be seen, the attention will find it without you having to chase it. Take a breath there. Let those four land. Delay was design. Silence was strategy. Failure was foundation. Invisibility was incubation. If even one of those just felt like a stone getting lifted off your back, that is the correct response. That is your system acknowledging that it has been waiting for someone to say those exact words in that exact order. Now I want to tell you about Ruth. If you grew up with any kind of faith background, you probably heard her name once or twice, and you probably heard a short, tidy version of her story. A foreigner, a widow. She was faithful. She got married to a good man. The end. That version is not wrong, but it is so small that it misses almost everything that matters about her. And what matters about her is that she walked the exact shape I just described, the spiral, the 4 passes, the formation season, without a name. So, let me give you her story, the way the old storytellers would have told it, slowly, with the weight back in. She was born in a country called Moab. That is the first thing you need to know, because it is the thing that most versions of the story skip past. She was a Moabite. Her people, and the people she would eventually walk toward, were not friends. There was a long history of friction between them. She did not grow up with the God of Israel. She did not grow up knowing the songs. She did not grow up with the lineage. Everything about where she started should have disqualified her from where she ended up, and yet she is the reason King David was born. And yet she is the reason the whole line of kings exists. And yet she is one of only 5 women named in the genealogy at the start of the New Testament. From a country that was supposed to disqualify her, from a life that began on the wrong side of a story, she ended up in the center of the biggest story that tradition has ever told. And the shape of how she got there is the shape we are tracing right now. Walk with me. The first pass of her formation season was loss. Her husband died. She was young. She had no children. In the world she lived in, a widow with no children was a person with almost no social protection. She had every reason to go home to her own people, sleep in her old bed, let her mother take care of her, try to start over with someone from her own culture. That would have been the normal response. That would have been the reasonable choice. But something in her said no. Something that did not yet have a name. Something she could not have explained to her friends if they had asked her. She looked at her mother-in-law, a woman from the other culture, a woman who had also just lost everything, and she made a decision that did not make any practical sense. She chose to go with the one who had nothing, toward the country that was not hers, on the chance that something was waiting that she could not yet see. Read that slowly. She chose the country that was not hers, on the chance that something was waiting that she could not yet see. That is the first pass. The first pass of formation is almost always a choice made in the dark, in the absence of evidence, because something in you is pulling toward a place your eyes cannot yet reach. Have you made a choice like that in the last few years? Have you made a choice that your friends could not understand? Have you followed a thread that did not have a name? If you have done what Ruth did. You are on the road she was on. The second pass of her formation was the walk, the physical walk from her country to the one she had chosen. It was long, it was dusty. There was no certainty waiting at the other end. There was no promise of success. There was just her mother-in-law, a woman whose bitterness had swallowed her name. She had started calling herself by a word that meant bitter instead of the name she had been given at birth, and a road between 2 places. That walk was the silent middle of the formation. No one watching her that week would have known she was about to become the great-grandmother of a king. She looked like a displaced widow walking on a road. She was carrying something in her body that had not yet announced itself. The third pass of her formation was arrival without belonging. She got to the new country. She was not greeted. She was not known. She was a foreigner with a strange accent and no visible resources. She went to the fields to glean. Gleaning was the ancient version of gathering what the harvesters left behind. She worked in obscurity. She was in the right country, but she was not yet in her place within it. Some of you are in that exact pass right now. You have gotten to the country you were called to. You are not in the season you came from anymore, but you are not yet in the place of honor either. You are working in the edges of the field. You are bending over, picking up what the main workers dropped, and you are wondering if this is all there was. This is the pass where most people give up. They confuse the edge of the field with the whole field. They confuse the humbling with the permanent. They say, well, maybe this is it. Maybe I was not called to more. Ruth did not say that. She kept showing up to the same field. She kept working faithfully in the edges. And here is the thing about the edges. The edges are where you get seen by the owner of the field. The owner of the field does not walk through the center. The owner of the field walks the perimeter. The edges are the place where the person with the authority to change your station first notices you. She was noticed, she was protected, she was given extra, and she did not chase it, she did not manufacture it, she let it come. The fourth pass of her formation was the threshing floor. And this is where I need to go slower, because the threshing floor is the closest thing in the old story to what this Sunday is for you. The threshing floor was a specific place. It was where the grain was separated from the husk. It was where what was valuable was separated from what was going to be blown away. And in her story, the threshing floor was also the place where she presented herself to the man who had the authority to redeem her situation. She went at night. She waited until the work of the day was done. She lay down at his feet, and she asked, in the most humble language the culture had available, to be covered, to be brought into the story in a permanent way. What I want you to hear is that the threshing floor was not the beginning of her transformation. The threshing floor was the completion of it. Everything that had happened before, the loss, the walk, the edges of the field, the long patient obscurity, all of it had been preparing her to be on the threshing floor at the exact moment the redemption was possible. If she had not walked through the earlier passes, she would not have been in the right place when the threshing floor moment arrived. This Sunday is your threshing floor. It is the specific day when the long work of the earlier passes comes to a point of completion. It is the specific day when you are in the right place at the right moment for a redemption to become visible. You did not arrange this. Your life has been arranging it for you while you were busy keeping the other plates spinning. And now I want to give you a word, because the word will explain why Sunday and not Monday, why the seventh day and not the sixth, why the timing of the thing is the thing. In the language of the people who wrote the old stories, there was a word for the seventh day. The word was Shabbath. Most people today hear that word and think of rest. They think of not working. They think of sitting still. The translation is not wrong, but it is so incomplete that it misses almost everything the word was originally carrying. The root of the word Shabbath does not primarily mean rest. The root means to cease, to stop, to come to the end of a sequence. That is a very different thing. Rest implies you were tired and now you are not. Ceasing implies something was in motion and has now finished its motion. Rest is about your body. Ceasing is about the arc of the process. The seventh day, in the original language, was not the day you stopped because you were tired. The seventh day was the day the process you had been in came to its completion. The day the thing that had been forming became the thing that had been formed. The seventh day was the day the mold came off and the shape was seen. Do you hear what I am telling you? You have been in the process for a long time. You have been in the forming. You have been in the making. 6 days of your formation season, and I am not talking about literal days here. I am talking about phases, the 6 stretches of the work that has been happening in you. 6 phases of forming are now behind you. And the 7th day is the day the process ceases. Not because you are tired, because the work is done. That is what this Sunday is. This is not a Sunday of the week, the way Mondays and Tuesdays are weekdays. This is a Shabbath, a ceasing, a completion, a coming to the end of a sequence. And the specific person you have been becoming during the long sequence is going to be the person who wakes up that morning because the sequence has finished and the person is ready. Let me say it again, in slightly different words, because I want it to land in the bone. The old people did not call the 7th day rest because they were lazy. They called it ceasing because they understood something we have forgotten. Work ends, formation ends, seasons end, not in exhaustion, in completion. And the day the completion arrives is a different kind of day than the days before it. It is not a day to cross off a list. It is a day to stand inside. This Sunday is a day to stand inside. I want you to breathe that in for a moment, because I know it is a lot. Let me pause here with you. I want you to notice that you have been listening to this for a while now. Your body has a specific posture right now. Your breath has a specific rhythm. Before we keep going, just take one breath, slowly. Not to fix anything, not to get ready for the next section. Just one breath that is for you. Nothing to receive, nothing to release. Just breathe. Okay. Thank you for taking that with me. I know some of what I am saying in this message is touching things in you that have not been touched in a long time. I know some of it is bringing up memories. I know some of it is landing in places that still hurt. I want to tell you that you are safe here. This is not going to end in a way that leaves you more tired than you started. I promise you that. And while we are in this quieter moment, I want to say something I have been building toward without announcing it. There is a certain kind of research that has been emerging in the last decade, work that describes what happens inside the brain and the nervous system during exactly the kind of threshold seasons you have been in. There is a physician named Dr. Robert Lake whose work sits at the center of some of it. The work is technical, and we will get to the specifics later in this message. For now, I only want to name that you are not the only one who has noticed what you have been noticing. Others have measured it. Others have traced the exact patterns you have been feeling in your body. Which means the thing happening to you is not only spiritual, it is also physical. And the physical layer has its own language, which we will unfold when the moment is right. For now, back to the story, and back to you. If you have been tracking the shape of Ruth's story, you may have noticed that her story does not explain itself at the beginning. Nobody who met her on day one of her walk would have known what she was becoming. Not even she knew. All she had was a choice she could not articulate, a thread she was following, a mother-in-law she was loyal to, and the vague sense that the country she was walking toward mattered more than the country she was walking away from. That was the whole of her intelligence about the situation. If you asked her, on the road, what she thought was going to happen, she would not have been able to tell you. If you asked her, in the fields, whether she was about to be redeemed, she would have laughed at the question. If you asked her, the night before the threshing floor, what she thought would come of her midnight visit, she would have said, probably nothing. Probably I will be sent away. Probably my life will continue in the edges. And yet, the arc was in motion. And yet, the Sunday was coming. This is the part I want to stress for you. The arc of your life does not need you to understand it for it to be in motion. The Sunday that is approaching does not depend on you being able to predict it. The formation that has happened in you does not wait for your permission to be real. All of it is happening on a timeline larger than your ability to see, and your only job, during the final stretch before the threshing floor, is to keep showing up to the edges of the field. You have been showing up. I know you have. and you are closer to the threshing floor than you realize. Before I take you into the part where we name the 7 signs of exactly where you are in the sequence, there is something I want to tell you about the last year of your life that is going to surprise some of you. Because this is not all general. Some of what has been happening to you has been very specific, and there is one particular year in the last stretch of your life, one stretch of about 12 months, that did something different than the years before it. Most people who have walked through a formation season can feel which year I am talking about without me naming it. There is a year when something underneath the surface cracked open and everything rearranged. A year that was not louder than the others but was deeper than the others. A year that looked like the others from the outside but felt different from the inside. Which year was that for you? Sit with the question for a second. Let your body answer before your mind does. Whatever year came up, that is the year. That is the year the seed actually split. That is the year the foundation got poured. That is the year the incubator sealed its walls. And what has been happening since that year has been the slow, quiet rising of the thing that was planted then. And the Sunday that is coming is the day that thing finally pushes through the soil where everyone can see it. I am going to tell you more about that year in a few minutes, and I am going to show you why it was specifically that year and not another one. But before I do, I need to name something that is happening in someone else who is watching this right now. If any part of this is landing in you, if any of this is naming something you have been feeling but could not articulate, there is someone else watching this right now whose winter has been long, whose sleep has been broken, whose chest has been heavy, and who needs to hear what you just heard. I am not going to ask you to do anything for me tonight. I am going to ask you to do one small thing for them. Gently press the like button, not because it helps me, because it helps this message reach them. Someone's formation season is waiting to be named, and you have the power right now, with a single tap, to be the reason it reaches them before they fall asleep tonight. Just gently. Not a big deal. Just a small act of solidarity with another chosen one who is on the same road you have been on. Thank you. Now let me give you what is coming. When we pick up again, I am going to lay out the 7 specific signs that prove you are at the end of the sequence. These are not generic signs. These are not the kind of vague symptoms that could fit anyone. These are the precise fingerprints of the 4th pass of a formation season, the pass right before the threshing floor. By the time I have named all 7, you are going to know, with a clarity that is almost uncomfortable, exactly where you are in the story. The first sign has to do with an odd hour of the night. The second has to do with a song. The third has to do with a name returning. The fourth has to do with your body. The fifth has to do with tears you cannot explain. The sixth has to do with goals that used to matter and suddenly do not. And the seventh is the quietest of all, and the most important, and the one most people miss. Before we step into them, take one more breath. Good. If you have felt, over the last few weeks, that something inside you was trying to tell you something, this is where that something gets its language. Do not move. We are about to get very precise. And once you know exactly where you are, the next step becomes obvious. Good. Stay with me. We are about to walk through the 7 signs that prove you are standing at the threshold right now, not someday, not eventually, right now. And I want you to listen the way you would listen to a doctor reading your own chart back to you. Because that is what this is, not a prediction, a reading. I am going to hand you the fingerprints of the 4th pass of a formation season, the pass right before the threshing floor, and you are going to count along with me. 7 signs, 7 fingerprints, 7 pieces of evidence that the work inside you has come to completion and the day is near. I want you to notice something as we go. Your body is going to react before your mind does. A small tightening in the chest, a sudden warmth behind the ears, a breath you did not plan to take. The tears that arrived before you understood you were about to cry. Those reactions are not noise, they are confirmations. Your body has been keeping the score of this formation for longer than your conscious mind has. When your body moves, in response to a word, trust the body. It is telling you where you are in the story. Also, keep a quiet count going. If a sign lands, let it land. If it does not, let it pass. Nobody has all 7 at the same intensity. Most chosen ones in the 4th pass have 4 or 5 strongly, with the rest softer in the background. 4 is enough. 4 is the floor. Anything above 4, you are unmistakably where I am telling you you are. The first sign is the odd waking hour. You have been waking up at a specific hour, night after night, and you cannot explain it. It is not your alarm, it is not caffeine, it is not noise from the street. You simply open your eyes and the clock says something strange. 3 in the morning, 3:11, 3:33. Somewhere in that narrow window between 2 and 4, where ordinary sleep is supposed to be at its deepest. And you lie there, not fully awake, not fully asleep, in a kind of soft alertness that has no content. You are not thinking about anything. You are not worrying about anything. You are just, for some reason, awake, and the room is very quiet, and your body is very still, and there is no explanation for why this keeps happening. You have probably Googled it. You have probably told a friend about it once, in a half-joking way, and they shrugged. You have probably wondered if something is medically wrong. And most of you have not found a medical answer, because there is not a medical answer. What is happening is not a symptom. It is a summons. In the old traditions, across cultures, the hour between 2 and 4 in the morning has a name. It goes by different names in different places, but the meaning is the same. It is the hour when the veil between what is seen and what is unseen becomes thin. It is the hour when the part of you that does the living gets quiet enough that the part of you that does the listening can finally receive. You are not being kept from sleep as a punishment. You are being called to a brief meeting at an address. Your daytime self cannot fit inside. You do not have to do anything during these wakings. You do not have to pray. You do not have to read. You do not have to solve. You only have to be awake for a few minutes while something is delivered. And then, sleep usually comes back, softer than before, and you drift off, and in the morning, you barely remember the waking, you only know that something feels different. If you have been waking at this hour, in this window, for weeks, and you cannot explain it, and no medical answer has landed, that is the mark of the crossing. The second sign is the sudden unbearability of songs, places, and routines you used to love. Something has happened to your taste, not all at once, not in a way you could point to and date, but somewhere in the last few months, a song you used to put on without thinking became suddenly unlistenable. You pressed play, and within a few seconds you pressed stop, and you could not tell anyone why. It was not that the song had become bad, it was that the song had become wrong for who you were becoming. The song was a frequency match for a version of you that has already left the building, and the new version cannot sit still inside its sound. The same thing has been happening with places. A restaurant you used to meet friends at now feels claustrophobic. A neighborhood you used to drive through for comfort now feels heavy. A street you used to walk feels off, not because anything visible has changed, but because the emotional temperature of the place no longer matches the emotional temperature of you. You leave early. You cut the visit short. You make up an excuse. You do not fully understand why you are leaving. You only know that your body will not stay. And the routines. The small patterns of your day that used to feel like comfort are starting to feel like costume. The morning scroll, the afternoon snack, the evening show you used to unwind with. Each of these used to be a little ritual that held you together, and now each one feels hollow, and you do the routine anyway, out of habit, and afterward you feel emptier than before you started. That is not you becoming ungrateful. That is not you becoming difficult. That is the new self rejecting the diet of the old self, because the new self needs a different kind of food, and your system is starting to refuse the old meal before you have learned to cook the new one. If songs you used to love have become unlistenable, if places you used to find comfort in have started to feel wrong, if small daily rituals feel hollow instead of holding, that is the mark of the crossing. The third sign is the return of a specific name. Somewhere in the last few weeks, a person from your past has been showing up in your life in small, strange ways. You saw a name in a crowd that used to be theirs. You dreamed about them 3 nights in a row and cannot remember the last time you thought of them during the day. A song they loved came on in a coffee shop you never go to. Their old phone number, a number you thought you had forgotten, surfaced in your memory while you were washing dishes, and for a second you almost dialed it out of reflex, even though the number has probably been reassigned to someone else years ago. This person might be someone you loved and lost. This person might be a mentor who left your life in a way you did not fully understand. This person might be an old friend who faded without a fight. This person might be a family member whose absence still has weight. Or this person might be someone who hurt you, someone whose return you did not ask for, someone whose name arriving in your head. This often has been disturbing. Whichever category they are in, the return is not random. When formation comes to completion, the system does a final sweep. It brings unresolved names back into the frame, not to reopen the wound, but to ask a quiet question. The question is this still with you? Are you still carrying this? Is there anything here that needs to be set down before the new season starts? The names that keep returning are the names whose weight your system wants you to evaluate before you walk into the threshing floor. Some of them you will keep, but in a different form. Some of them you will release, finally, with an adult kindness that your younger self was not capable of. Some of them you will simply honor without engaging, but all of them are surfacing for a reason. They are the last bags your system is checking before the crossing. If a name from your past has been returning to you in ways that feel too coincidental to be coincidence, if you keep almost dialing a number you thought you had forgotten, if a person from another chapter keeps stepping into your current days without being invited, that is the mark of the crossing. The fourth sign is the strange partnership of exhaustion and bursts of energy. You are more tired than you have been in your whole life, not the tired of a long day, a deeper tired, a tired that sleep does not fully touch, a tired that sits in the bones. You have gone to bed at a reasonable hour, slept what should be enough, and woken up feeling like you have run through the night. The tiredness has been embarrassing you. You have been telling people you need a vacation. You have been wondering if something is chemically off. You have been avoiding plans because the plans feel like climbing mountains, even when they are simple. And then, in the middle of all of that, the opposite keeps happening. Somewhere in the afternoon, or late at night, or at a random Tuesday moment, a burst arrives, a burst of clarity, a burst of energy, a burst of vision. For 20 minutes, or an hour, or sometimes a whole evening, you feel completely alive in a way you have not felt in months. You are thinking clearly, you are making connections. You are seeing things about your own life that you have not been able to see. You write things down that surprise you. You say things out loud to yourself that feel true in a way few things have felt true lately. And then, Just as quickly as it arrived, it goes, and the tired comes back, and you wonder if you imagined it. You did not imagine it. What you are experiencing is the handoff in real time. The old self is laying itself down. That is the tiredness. It is not that you are broken. It is that the version of you that has been doing all the holding is finally allowed to rest because another version is coming online. And the bursts are the new version testing her lungs. She is learning to breathe in your body. She is feeling out how to see through your eyes, how to think through your mind, how to move through your hours. She is not fully here yet, which is why the bursts are brief, but she is practicing, and the practicing is leaking through. If you have been exhausted beyond explanation, and the exhaustion keeps alternating with brief, clear windows of unusual energy and clarity, windows that leave as mysteriously as they arrive, that is the mark of the crossing. Now breathe. Let those first 4 settle. I want to check in with you. If you have been counting and even 2 or 3 of those first 4 have landed, I want you to know that the last 3 are where things get specific. The first 4 are the sensors. The last 3 are the clock. The last 3 are what tells you exactly how close to Sunday you are. Stay sharp, do not drift. And while you are here, before we keep counting, I want to ask something of you that is not about me. If any of these first 4 signs have put language on something you have been quietly carrying for months, I want you to type 3 words in the comments. I see it. Just that. I see it. You are not promising anything to anyone. You are not making a public declaration about your whole life. You are just marking for yourself that you have been seen, that the thing inside you has been named. The words I see it are for you. Writing them shifts the neurochemistry of recognition. It turns an inward knowing into an outward confirmation. And that matters more than you might guess right now. Go ahead, type it, then come back. I am not going anywhere. Good. Keep going with me. The 5th sign is the crying without a reason. This one has been embarrassing some of you, and I want to take the embarrassment out of it. You have been crying lately, at times, and about things that do not make sense to you. A song in the car that is not even sad. A line in a movie that did not land on anyone else. A small kindness from a stranger at a checkout counter. A sunset that was not especially different from any other sunset. Your parent handing you something at the kitchen table. A dog you do not know looking at you at a crosswalk. Each time, the tears have arrived before the reason did. Each time, you have wiped them away quickly and wondered if something was wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. What is happening is a release. A long, slow release of emotion that has been compressed inside you during the heavy years. Emotion that could not be released in the moment because there was no room in your schedule for it. Because you were holding something that could not be dropped. Because you were on call for too many other people to afford the luxury of your own feelings. So, the emotion stored itself. It waited. It stayed in your tissues and your breath and your dreams. And now the system is safe enough to release it. And the releases are coming at random moments because the emotion is leaving through any crack it can find. The strange thing is, the crying does not feel like sadness. Some of you have noticed this. It does not even feel like grief. Exactly. It feels like overflow. It feels like something that is too full to stay contained. And afterward, you feel lighter, not heavier. Which is the opposite of what sadness does. Sadness leaves you heavier. This leaves you lighter. Because this is not a symptom. This is a drainage. It is the old weight leaving through the eyes. Let it happen. Stop apologizing for it. Stop asking yourself what is wrong. The crying is doing the work that words cannot do. The crying is emptying the containers so the new season has room to fill them. If you have been crying at odd moments about things that do not seem big enough to cry about, and the crying has felt strangely clean afterward, not heavy but light, that is the mark of the crossing. The sixth sign is the sudden foreignness of old goals. You had goals, you had plans, you had a vision board, or a mental version of one, or at least a clear sense of what you were working toward. And somewhere in the last few weeks, you have looked at that list, and something strange has happened. The list has started to feel like it was written by someone else. The career you were building toward still makes sense in theory, but when you imagine actually arriving there, you feel nothing. The milestones you used to want still have their logic, but the logic has lost its pull. The relationship structure you used to believe in has started to look too narrow for the shape of the person you are becoming. The version of success you used to chase looks smaller to you now, not because you have stopped wanting good things, but because your definition of good has widened. And the old definition cannot stretch to match. It has to be replaced. This is disorienting. I know it is, because goals are how most people keep themselves oriented. Without clear goals, people feel lost. And you have been feeling lost. But you are not lost. You are between maps. The old map does not fit the territory anymore because the territory has changed, and the new map has not yet been drawn because you are still standing inside the change. This is why the specific Sunday we are talking about matters so much, because on the other side of the threshold, the new map starts to appear, not all at once, in pieces, a direction here, a name there. A person in your path who turns out to be a landmark. Slowly, over the weeks after the Sunday, the new map assembles itself. But the old map has to go dark first. It is going dark right now. The old goals are not dying because you are losing your ambition. The old goals are dying because they cannot accommodate who you are becoming. Something bigger is about to replace them. Let them go dark without fighting to hold their light. If the goals that used to excite you have started to feel foreign, if the life you used to imagine has started to look like it was designed for a different person, if you have been between maps for months and have not known what to do about it, that is the mark of the crossing. And the seventh. This one is the quietest of all, and the most important, and the one most people miss. The seventh sign is the inexplicable calm. In the middle of a life where nothing external has been fixed, where the bills are still the bills, where the relationships are still in whatever state they were in, where the job still has its problems, and the body still has its pains, and the future still has its uncertainty, a strange calm has been arriving for brief moments, and you have not known what to do with it. It does not come when you expect it. It does not come when you meditate, or pray, or try to produce it. It comes sideways. It comes while you are doing the dishes. It comes while you are waiting at a traffic light. It comes at the end of a long phone call with someone you love. It comes for 30 seconds, or a minute, or 3 minutes, and in those moments you feel, for no reason that makes sense, that everything is fine. Not fine in the sense that everything has been solved. Fine in the sense that a deeper part of you is no longer worried about it. Fine in the sense that a current underneath your worry has started flowing in a new direction, and the current is the real thing, and the worry on the surface is just weather. Most people dismiss these moments. They assume the calm is a fluke, or a good day, or a rest from their anxiety that will soon be taken back. So they brace. They tell themselves not to get too used to it. They expect the calm to leave and the worry to return. Do not dismiss these moments. They are not flukes. They are previews. The calm you are experiencing briefly right now is the daily temperature of the person you are becoming. You are tasting the climate of the new self. You are getting brief, controlled exposures to the frequency you will live inside after the threshold. And each time the calm arrives, your body learns the shape of it a little better, so that when the whole climate changes, you will not be shocked. You will recognize it. You will already have the muscle memory of it. You will say, "Oh, this is the feeling that was coming through the cracks, and now the feeling is the room." This seventh sign is the most important, because this seventh sign is the closest thing to proof. The tired has a medical alternative explanation. The songs going wrong has a psychological alternative explanation. The names returning has a memory explanation. But the inexplicable calm, in the middle of unchanged circumstances, without any external reason for it, has no ordinary explanation. It is not the brain doing its usual thing. It is something else, reaching down and showing you in advance what is coming. If calm has been arriving in you sideways, for no reason, in the middle of a life that has not yet been rearranged from the outside, that is the mark of the crossing, and it is the sign that the crossing is very close. I want you to breathe now. 7 signs. Let me say them all back to you in a row, quickly, so you can feel the shape of them together. The odd hour of waking, the unbearability of what used to comfort, the returning of a specific name, the strange partnership of exhaustion and bursts, the crying that feels like release instead of grief, the foreignness of old goals, and the inexplicable calm. Count inside yourself right now, not out loud, just inside. How many of these have you been living in the last few weeks? Not in the last year. The last few weeks. If you counted 4, you are there. If you counted 5, you are closer than there. If you counted 6, Sunday is near enough that you can feel the air of it. If you counted 7, you are standing inside the last hours before the morning I described at the beginning of this message. You are exactly where I said you would be when you pressed play. And here is what I promised you I would tell you. There is a specific year in the recent stretch of your life that did something different. I asked you about that year earlier, and I told you to let your body answer before your mind did. Whichever year came up when I asked, that is the year we are talking about. Let me tell you what happened during that year. During that year, the seed of the person you are becoming was planted, not metaphorically, actually. There was a moment, maybe more than one, but there was a core moment during that year when something inside you split open in a way that felt like loss at the time. It might have been a loss of a relationship. It might have been a loss of a job. It might have been a loss of a belief. It might have been a loss that was not even loud enough to register on the outside. A quiet, internal cracking, a collapsing of an assumption, a moment where you understood something about yourself or the world that changed the shape of who you thought you were. That moment was the planting. What felt like a loss was actually the ground opening. And into the open ground, without your knowing it, a seed was placed, a seed of the self you are now becoming. For the rest of that year, and every year since, that seed has been rooting. You have not seen it. It has not been above ground. It has been doing all of its work in the dark, under the soil of your ordinary days. You have only felt the strange effects of something growing where nothing appeared to be growing. The low-grade exhaustion of a body hosting a secret expansion. The mood swings of a system under construction. The sense that the outer life and the inner life were running on different clocks. This Sunday is the day the shoot breaks the soil. This Sunday is the day the first green of that seed becomes visible. Not to a crowd, not in a way that goes viral, but to you. You will see it, you will know it is there. And once you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. The rest of your life will divide into before the morning you saw the green and after it. I want to pause and say something that is on my heart for the one who is asking the next question. Some of you have been wondering, while I have been speaking, what happens if you miss it? What if you do not recognize the morning when it comes? What if you sleep through it? What if you are in a fight with someone that day, or sick, or traveling, or too busy, and the moment slides past without you noticing? Will you have lost your chance? I hear you. I want you to hear me. You cannot miss what has been sealed for you. The crossing is not a bus that leaves the station on a schedule. The crossing is a landing that has your name on it. If you are busy that Sunday, the recognition will come on Monday. If you are sick that Sunday, the recognition will come during a moment of fever where your brain is too soft to argue with it. If you are in a fight that Sunday, the recognition will come in the silence after, when you are driving home in the car alone. If you are traveling that Sunday, the recognition will come in a hotel room at an hour you did not expect, while you are looking at the ceiling of a room that is not yours. The recognition will find you. It was planted for you. It will harvest itself into the first moment your system is open enough to receive it. You cannot be too busy to be found. You cannot be too distracted to be reached. The thing that is coming has been coming for a long time. It does not depend on your calendar cooperating. And I hear the Spirit saying, with a gentleness that almost makes me lose composure, these words, "For whoever needed to hear them at this hour, you have been sealed without knowing. What I have been building in you cannot be stolen by the noise of one day. What I have been building in you has your name on it, and your name is held in a place that the noise cannot reach. Rest. You are not in danger of missing me. I have never been in danger of missing you." Let that land. I want to protect something for you before we leave this section, because I know there is a part of you that is already wondering how to prepare for the crossing. That question is the right question, and I am going to answer it in depth when we get to the practice later. But before I show you the practice, I have to show you something else first, because without it, the practice will not work. I have to show you the one thing that could make you miss your own recognition, even though the recognition is sealed. Not a calendar conflict, not a busy day, not distraction. The one thing is older and quieter than all of those, and it lives inside you. And it has been speaking louder these last few weeks than you may have noticed, because it knows what is coming, and it is trying to protect you from becoming who you are becoming. Its voice sounds like loyalty. Its language sounds like humility. Its excuse sounds like love for the people you would leave behind. But underneath the costume, it is something simpler than any of those, and it is the reason most chosen ones who reach the threshold do not cross. I am going to name it for you in the next section. I am going to show you how it sounds inside your own head. I am going to show you why it has been getting louder lately, and why that loudness is not proof it is right, but proof that you are close to the door it does not want you to open. Do not move. We are going to walk right up to it and name it together, so it cannot hide in the dark anymore. Once it has a name, its power breaks. Take a breath with me. Good. The thing I am about to name lives in almost every chosen one who reaches the fourth pass of a formation season. It is not a flaw in your character. It is not a sign that you did something wrong. It is a specific voice that shows up at this specific moment in the crossing, almost like a last guard at the door, and it has a job, and the job is to slow you down. The voice is the voice of guilt. Not the guilt of having done something wrong. Not the guilt that comes from an actual moral failure. A different guilt. A quieter, more confusing guilt. The guilt of becoming someone new. The guilt of outgrowing the life you were given. The guilt of no longer fitting in the exact shape that the people who love you have always known you inside. I want to name this clearly, because most of you have been feeling it and have not had words for it. You have been feeling bad about becoming better. You have been feeling guilty for wanting more than what you were raised to expect. You have been feeling like a traitor for setting boundaries that keep you alive. You have been feeling selfish for not being available the way you used to be. You have been feeling cruel for no longer being able to carry the people you used to carry. You have been feeling ashamed for being less interested in the conversations you used to be interested in. You have been feeling like you are abandoning the person your family thought you would always be. And here is the worst part of it. You have been feeling all of this quietly, because you cannot even explain it to the people around you. Because to explain it, you would have to admit that you are becoming someone different, and that admission is the thing the guilt is trying to prevent. So the guilt has kept you small. In small ways, not in ways anyone would notice from the outside. You said yes to a thing when your body said no. You made yourself available when you needed rest. You pretended to still be interested in a topic you were done with. You laughed at a joke that did not feel funny anymore. You stayed later than you wanted to. You answered a call you should not have answered. Each of those small acts was the guilt buying time. Each of those small acts was the guilt keeping you in the old shape a little longer. I want to tell you what the guilt actually is, because once you see what it actually is, the whole thing becomes simpler. The guilt is not proof you are doing something wrong. The guilt is a signal that you are at the threshold. The guilt is not a voice from your conscience. The guilt is an old survival mechanism that has outlived its purpose. The guilt is not your love for other people turned inward. The guilt is your fear of being visible, dressed up as love, so it would not feel like fear. Let me slow down with each of those, because each one has to land. The first one. The guilt is a signal that you are at the threshold. If you were not close to becoming, you would not feel guilty for becoming. The guilt is directly proportional to the proximity of the change. A person who is years away from a transformation does not feel guilty about it, because the transformation is too far away to trigger the alarm. A person who is days or weeks away, which is where you are, triggers the alarm at full volume. The volume is not telling you to go back. The volume is telling you that the door is finally visible. The guilt is the alarm that the door has triggered, not an instruction to turn around. The second one. The guilt is an old survival mechanism. At some point in your childhood or in your early formation, you learned that belonging to the people around you required you to be a specific shape. Maybe you needed to be the helper. Maybe you needed to be the quiet one. Maybe you needed to be the responsible one. Maybe you needed to be the fixer, the peacemaker, the one who did not ask for too much. Whatever your specific shape was, that shape kept you safe. Staying inside the shape was the price of belonging, and becoming a different shape felt, to your nervous system, like risking everything, like being cast out, like being alone in the dark. That is the wiring. That is what the guilt is made of. It is old safety circuitry firing inside a new situation, and the new situation does not actually have the same risks the old one did, but the circuit does not know that yet. The third one, the guilt is fear, dressed as love. And this is the hardest one to hear. You tell yourself, the reason you are hesitating to fully become is that you love the people who would be affected. You do not want to hurt them. You do not want to abandon them. You do not want to make them feel left behind. That story is sweet, and it is partially true, but it is not the whole truth. The whole truth is that becoming who you are becoming means being seen in a new way. And being seen in a new way is terrifying. Because new seeing means new judgment, new expectations, new stakes. And part of you would rather stay in the old shape, where the judgments have already been calculated and survived, than step into a new shape where the judgments are unknown. And because that fear feels too vulnerable to admit, the fear borrows the language of love. I cannot change because I love them. I cannot grow because it would hurt them. I cannot become because of what it would cost. The love is real. The fear is also real. And the fear has been using the love as cover for longer than you may want to admit. Take a breath. I know that was a lot. I am not trying to take love away from you. I am trying to take the disguise off fear so you can actually see both clearly. When you can see both clearly, you can keep the love and drop the fear. You can become who you are becoming and love the people in your life at the same time. In fact, loving them well requires you to become. Because the version of you that stays frozen in the old shape cannot give them what the becoming version could. The frozen version can only keep repeating the same patterns. The becoming version can bring something new into their lives too. You are not betraying them by growing. You are giving them a better you to be in relationship with. Let me say that again, more slowly, because the guilt does not want to let you hear it the first time. You are not betraying them by growing. You are giving them a better you to be in relationship with. Now, I want to walk you all the way back to the woman we have been following, because Ruth walked this exact guilt, and she walked it without the benefit of the vocabulary I just handed you. She had to do it in the dark, and watching how she did it in the dark is going to help you do it in the light. Stay with me. Come to the crossroads with me. It is dusk, and the dust of a hot day has settled into the wrinkles of the road. 3 women are standing at a place where the road forks. On one side, the way back to Moab, the country she was born in. The country she spoke with her mother tongue. The country where her people still live, where someone could take her in, where the rhythm of life was known. On the other side, the way to Bethlehem, a country she had never been to, a people whose language she could follow only imperfectly, a God she had heard about but had not yet called her own, a future with no shape in it, no map, no promise of welcome, only the thin thread of a loyalty she could not fully explain. Her mother-in-law is telling her to go back. The other daughter-in-law has already turned. The older woman is begging her, in the kindest voice she can manage, to do the sensible thing. To go home, to start over, to find another husband from her own people, to not throw her young life away on a road that does not lead anywhere she knows. Ruth is standing still. And here is what no translation fully captures about that moment. She is not standing still because she is strong. She is standing still because she cannot move. Because both roads are pulling on her at once. The road back is pulling on every instinct she was raised with. The road forward is pulling on something inside her that does not yet have a name. And the guilt is in the moment. The guilt is in the moment with her. The guilt of leaving her people, the guilt of letting her family down, the guilt of choosing something her culture will never fully understand, the guilt of being the one who walks away, and then she speaks. Her words have been remembered for 3,000 years because they are the words of someone who named the guilt and stepped through it. Do not ask me to turn away from you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. What I want you to hear in those words is that she is not defiant. She is not saying she does not love her people. She is not saying the road back is bad. She is saying, with a quiet steadiness that only comes from somebody who has already done the internal work, that she has made her decision, and the decision is costly, and she is willing to pay the cost, because the cost of not going forward would be higher than the cost of going. She took the guilt with her. She did not leave it behind. She acknowledged it. She walked with it on her shoulder, one careful step at a time, toward the country she had not yet seen. And the guilt did not magically disappear when she crossed the border. The guilt stayed with her. It quieted as she worked in the fields. It softened when the owner of the field spoke kindly to her. It grew smaller as she kept choosing the new country over the old. But it did not vanish overnight. It was folded into the fabric of her crossing, and eventually it became something else. It became part of the story. It became the thing she had overcome. And every generation that came from her carried the echo of that night at the crossroads, the night she named the pull in both directions and chose forward anyway. That is the way across the threshold. Not the elimination of guilt, the naming of guilt, the honoring of it, and the walking forward with it on your shoulder until it gets tired and drops off on its own. There is something else happening at your threshold that I want to name, because I do not want you to be surprised by it. There is a resistance in the air around you right now that is not entirely personal. Most traditions have language for this, and you can take or leave whatever tradition you come from, but I want to name it in simple terms. When a chosen one approaches the moment of emergence, the atmosphere around them thickens. Things that should be easy become harder. Small obstacles appear that did not exist the week before. A relationship gets tense at a time when you need peace. A health issue flares on a day you needed clarity. An old voice in your head gets louder. An addiction you thought you had handled whispers again. A family member calls with a crisis at the exact hour you had set aside to rest. This is not random. This is not coincidence. This is the resistance the door has, because the door is heavy, and the last few inches of opening a heavy door require the most effort. Do not interpret the friction as a sign you are off course. Interpret the friction as confirmation that you are close. Every chosen one I have watched walk through a threshold has reported some version of this increase in friction in the final stretch. And every one of them has said, afterward, that they almost turned back in the last week. Almost. They were a hair's breadth from quitting. And then they pushed one more inch, and the door opened, and the room on the other side had more light in it than they had imagined possible, and they could not remember, looking back, what they had been so afraid of. Do not turn back. Not when the friction is highest, not when the guilt is loudest, not when the voice inside says, "This is too hard, I can stay where I am, becoming is not worth it." The voice is lying. Becoming is worth it. You are worth it. The door is heavier at the end because it is the end, not because it is a wall. Now I want to give you permission to do something that most of you have not given yourself permission to do. Permission, in the fullest sense, is a legal word and a spiritual word at the same time. It is a formal allowance to proceed. And most of you are standing at the threshold waiting for someone to give you permission, and no one in your external life can give it to you, because the permission you are waiting for is not theirs to give. The permission you are waiting for is yours to give yourself, and some of you have not given it. You have been waiting for a parent to give it, a partner to give it, a pastor to give it, a friend to give it, the world to give it, and the world is not going to give it. The permission has to come from inside. So let me walk you through the permissions you have been withholding from yourself. You have permission to outgrow a version of you that did not know what you know now. You do not need to apologize for the growth. You do not need to ask for approval to become wiser, kinder, clearer, or stronger. The earlier version of you served its purpose. It kept you alive. It brought you here. It can be honored and also left behind. You are not being disloyal by becoming. You have permission to leave the circles that cannot hold you anymore. Some of the rooms you sit inside each week are rooms built for a smaller version of you. You have been shrinking to fit those rooms. The rooms were never wrong to exist, and the people inside them are not wrong to still be there. But the rooms are no longer your size. You can love the people in the rooms and still leave the rooms. Leaving the room is not the same as leaving the person. You can find a new way to carry the people forward without staying crouched in the room. You have permission to stop performing the version of you that other people got used to. The performance has been exhausting, you know it has. The cheerfulness you do not feel, the patience you do not have, the availability you cannot sustain, the interest you cannot muster, the enthusiasm you have been faking. You can stop, no one will die. The people worth keeping will adjust. The people who cannot adjust were not keeping you for you. They were keeping you for the performance. Let the performance end. You have permission to rest without earning it. You do not need to be productive to deserve a soft day. You do not need to justify an afternoon where nothing gets done. The body that has been carrying you through the formation season is owed a debt you cannot repay with hustle. You can repay it with permission. Let the body rest without making it prove first that it deserves to. You have permission to want the things you want, not small versions of them, not diluted versions, the real ones, the true ones, the ones you have been censoring even in your own private thoughts, because part of you worries that wanting them is selfish or arrogant or greedy. It is not. The wanting is part of the design. The thing inside you that wants specific things is the thing inside you that is being called toward a specific life. You were not given small wanting by accident. You were given the wanting you were given because the wanting is a map. Follow the wanting. You have permission to become the person you have been privately afraid you might actually be. Some of you have been suspicious for years that the you inside the you is bigger than the you show the world. You have been suspicious that you are capable of more than you have been allowed to demonstrate. You have been suspicious that your small life has been containing a large soul, and the containment has been uncomfortable. Stop suspecting. The suspicion is correct. The you inside the you is real. And this Sunday is the day the small life starts to make room for the large soul. Take that in for a moment. If anything in those permissions just broke something open in you, I want you to do one more thing before we move on. Type in the comments 2 words, I receive. Not, I agree. Not, I will try. I receive. Because receiving is different from agreeing. Agreeing is an intellectual nod. Receiving is a bodily yes. Receiving is opening the hands. Receiving is saying, yes, this is mine. I am going to carry it with me through this week. It has been given, and I am taking it. Type it. Let it mark the moment. Good. Now, remember what I showed you at the beginning of this message, the image of the first warm day of the season, the ice finally letting go of the branch. I want to bring that image back for 1 minute, because it has something to do with the guilt we just walked through. The ice does not feel guilty for letting go. The ice does not stand at the edge of the branch and wonder if the branch will be okay without it. The ice does not apologize to the tree. The ice does not ask the tree for permission. The ice simply recognizes, in whatever quiet way ice recognizes anything, that its season is over. The temperature has changed. The crystalline grip has loosened. The weight of itself has become too much for the new weather to hold. And the ice releases, and falls, and becomes water, and the water runs, and the running water feeds ground that has been frozen for a very long time. The ice is not betraying the tree. The ice is becoming what it always was underneath, water that had taken a specific shape in a specific season. And when the season changes, the shape has to change. The water does not fight the change. The water knows that it was never really ice. It was temporarily ice for a while, because the conditions asked it to be. The conditions have stopped asking. Your old shape was temporary. It was what the cold season needed. The season is changing. You do not have to be loyal to the shape. Your loyalty is to the water, not to the ice. Let the ice release without apology. The ground below you has been waiting for the drink it is about to receive. Let me pull you forward one more step before we leave this section, because the guilt is only one layer of the obstacle. There is one more thing underneath the guilt, and it is the deepest layer, and it has been with some of you for longer than you have been aware. It is the fear of being seen, because the guilt does one job, which is to keep you in the old shape. But under the guilt is something older, something that has been with you since you were small. And that is the fear that if you are fully seen, fully known, fully visible in who you are becoming, something bad will happen. Someone will reject you. Someone will be disappointed. Someone will weaponize what they see. Someone will take it and use it against you. The world will not handle the real you well. So, you have kept yourself partly hidden, even from yourself. You have stayed vague in your self-description. You have downplayed your strengths. You have preemptively apologized for your gifts. You have added qualifiers to your own praise. You have not let yourself see yourself clearly, because seeing yourself clearly felt too exposed, even when the only witness was you. This Sunday is going to ask you to be seen. Not by a crowd, by yourself first. You are going to wake up and, in the first quiet hour, you are going to see yourself, and there will be nothing between you and the seeing. No costume, no qualifier, no apology. Just you, in the mirror, or in the window, or in the reflection of a pot of water on the stove, and the you, looking back, will be the full you, and the full you will be more than the partial you has been pretending. This is the moment the fear of being seen will try its last stand. It will whisper, "Do not look, do not really look. Look at the outline but not the detail. See the rough shape but not the full face." Because if you see the full face, you have to become it, and becoming is irreversible. Look anyway. Look at the full face. Become the full face. You have permission. Breathe with me. Deeper this time. Good. When we pick up next, I am going to show you who you are going to meet on the other side of this seeing, because the person in the mirror that morning is not a stranger. The person in the mirror is somebody you have been almost remembering for years. And I am going to tell you their name, the shape of their days, the way they move through the world, the way they speak to the people they love, the way they handle the obstacles that used to crush the old you, the way they rest, the way they decide. I am going to describe the specific future you are becoming, specifically, not as a wish, as a reading, because the future you is already close enough to this room that we can see the shape. Stay, because after I show you who you are becoming, I am going to tell you a story about someone who walked this exact week 9 months ago, and I am going to tell you what happened to them, and I am going to tell you why it matters for you specifically. Do not move. The best part of this message is on the other side of this breath. You still with me? Good. Now we turn, together, and we look forward. We look at the morning I described at the beginning, but this time we do not look at it from the outside. We walk inside it. We spend time there. We meet the person who lives there, because the person who lives there is you, in a form you have not yet worn, but are closer to wearing than you know. Take one slow breath before we step across. Here is what is going to happen this Sunday. You are going to wake up. You are going to recognize something immediately. In the first second, your eyes are open, that you have not recognized in a very long time. And you are going to no longer be able to unsee what you recognized. Those three things are the architecture of the crossing. You will wake, you will recognize, and the recognition will be permanent. Sleep will not undo it. Distraction will not undo it. Returning to ordinary Monday will not undo it. Once the seeing happens, it is in you. You become someone who has seen, and someone who has seen does not go back to being someone who is not. Let me show you what the seeing is going to show you. The first thing you are going to see, in the first quiet moments of that morning, is that the fight is over. Not the external fights. Those go on at their own pace. The fights that were in your life last week will still be in your life this Sunday. The job issues, the family tensions, the health concerns, the financial pressures. All of it will be exactly where it was. Nothing on the outside will have been magically solved. But the internal fight, the one inside you, the one where you have been wrestling with yourself for years about whether you are enough, whether you are real, whether your own knowing is allowed to be trusted, that fight will be over. You will know that you are enough, not because you have done enough, because you have crossed the place where enoughness is proved by doing and entered the place where enoughness is the ground you stand on. You will know you are real, not because anyone else has confirmed it, because the confirming is no longer needed. You will know your own knowing is allowed to be trusted, not because you read a book that said so, because the inside of you has finally become quiet enough that the knowing is loud. The external fights will still need attention, but you will attend to them from a different room, from a room where the internal fight is not happening in the background anymore. And once the internal fight is not happening in the background, you will have twice the energy you used to have, because you will not be burning half of it on the civil war inside. The external fights will get addressed with the full force of your attention, not the half force that was left over after the civil war took its share. The second thing you are going to see that morning is the names of the people who belong to the next season. Not all of them will be new. Some of them will be people already in your life, people who have been patient with you through the heavy years, people who knew, somehow, who you were becoming before you did. People who kept showing up. They will still be with you, and you will see them more clearly. You will see them with a gratitude that the old you did not have the bandwidth for. You will see how they stayed. You will see the cost of their staying, and you will know what to say to them and what not to say, and how to love them back in a way that honors how they have loved you. But there will also be new names. People you have not yet met, or people you have met but dismissed, or people you have known from a distance but not yet allowed close. In the weeks after the Sunday, their names will start to surface. A phone call, a reintroduction, a message that takes you by surprise. A moment at a coffee shop that does not look like a divine appointment but is. And because the internal fight is no longer happening, you will have the presence of mind to receive these new names when they arrive. You will not be too busy to meet them. You will not be too guarded to let them in. You will have space for what is coming, because you will no longer be full of what was draining you. And there will be names you will release, kindly, without drama, without a big speech. Some people who have been in your life will fade, not because you pushed them, but because the frequency no longer matches and the arrangement can no longer sustain itself. This is not cruelty. This is not betrayal. This is simply what happens when the shape changes. And you will release them with a kind of peace that surprises you, because the version of you that would have clung is not the version of you that wakes up that Sunday. The new version knows how to let go without slamming doors. The third thing you are going to see that morning is what you are for. This is the one that has been quietly driving you crazy, some of you, for years. The question of what your life is actually for. You have looked at the work you do and wondered if it is the real thing or a placeholder. You have looked at your relationships and wondered if the shape of them is right. You have looked at the hours of your day and wondered where the center is. You have been sensing that there is a purpose in you, something specific, something shaped to you, something that only you could do, in the exact way you could do it, and you have not been able to see it clearly. This Sunday, it is going to start to come into focus, not in one dramatic vision, in a series of small recognitions that line up with each other and form a picture. You will realize why a certain story always makes you cry. You will realize why you keep gravitating toward a certain kind of person or situation. You will realize why certain skills of yours always seem to arrive without being asked for. You will realize why you are able to see things in other people that most others miss. You will realize why certain suffering has been given to you to carry, because the carrying has shaped the exact tool you are meant to hand to someone else later. The purpose was never missing. It was under the surface, the way the shoot is under the soil. This Sunday is the day the shoot breaks through. You will see the first green of the purpose above the ground. And from that day, every week will sharpen the picture a little more. By the end of the season, you will be standing inside the thing you are for. I want you to breathe with me. Let that vision land, because what I am describing is not wishful thinking. This is not a manifestation exercise. This is a reading of the architecture of the shift you have been in. The architecture calls for the fight to end, the people to realign, and the purpose to surface. Those three are what the fourth pass is for. Those three are what the seed has been building toward underneath the soil. I want to tell you about someone who stood where you are standing 9 months ago. I am going to change the small details of his story because his privacy matters, but the bones are real, and the bones are what you need. He was a man in his mid-40s. He had been walking through a version of the formation season I just described to you. In his case, it had been a particular kind of hard. His career, which he had built carefully over 20 years, had come apart in a span of 3 months. A major contract he had been counting on fell through. A partnership he had trusted turned sour. A reputation he had spent 2 decades building took a hit over something that was not his fault, but that the public did not have the patience to sort out. He went from being a person his industry knew to being a person his industry had stopped calling almost overnight. And in that same stretch of months, his marriage had started to feel thin, not in an active fighting way, in a quiet drift way. The nights got quieter. The weekends started to feel like separate schedules. Something that had been alive between them started moving more slowly, and neither of them could figure out how to name it, and both of them were too tired from the career collapse to have the conversation they needed to have. He came into the threshold season carrying all of that. He had every reason to be bitter, every reason to be afraid, and every reason to quit. And he did not quit, not because he was heroic. Because something inside him, he told me later, had gone quiet in a way he did not understand, and the quiet had asked him to try something. The quiet had asked him to be quiet back. So he did an unusual thing. He deleted his social media accounts, all of them, not paused, deleted. He stopped taking meetings that were not essential. He stopped explaining his situation to people. He committed to 40 days of something he called frequency alignment, which was his personal phrase for what he was doing. But what he was actually doing was simpler than the phrase made it sound. He was taking long walks early in the morning. He was writing by hand in a notebook for 20 minutes a day. He was reading 1 chapter of 1 old text each evening, and he was listening, just listening. To what? He could not have said if you had asked him. He was listening the way a person listens when they are lost in the woods and trying to hear the sound of the road. For the first 3 weeks, nothing happened. The silence was mostly uncomfortable. The walks mostly produced fatigue instead of insight. The notebook mostly filled with complaints. He did not give up. He kept going because he did not have a better idea. In the 4th week, things started to shift in small ways. His sleep came back. His breath came back. The panic about the career started to soften, not because his circumstances had changed, but because the panic itself had gotten tired. In the 5th week, he noticed that he was thinking more clearly than he had in a year. His mind was making connections that had not been available to him during the noise. He started writing down ideas that were not complaints, actual ideas. Some of them were good. And then, on what he later told me was a Sunday morning in the middle of the 6th week, he woke up early, and the light coming through the curtain was a specific color, and his chest was not heavy, and his hand found a cup of coffee, and while he was standing in the kitchen, barefoot, holding that cup, he understood something. He understood that the career that had collapsed was never the one he was supposed to be building, that the partnership that had turned was never the right partnership, that the version of the industry he had been chasing was a smaller version of what he was actually for, and that the marriage that had been drifting was not ending, it was reorganizing, because the shape of the love between them was outgrowing the container they had built for it when they were younger. In the days after that Sunday, he did 3 things. He told his wife about what he had seen, simply, without a speech. Just, "Here is what I understood last week." She cried, and so did he, and they had the conversation they had been too tired to have for 6 months. That conversation began the rebuilding of something between them that is now stronger than before. He wrote down the outline of a different way to work, something that used his experience but put it toward a different end. And he sent one email, not a mass email, one email, to one person he had not talked to in years, whose name had come up in his mind during the quiet weeks and would not leave. That one person wrote back within an hour. A conversation began. That conversation led to another. And inside of 90 days from that Sunday, he had a contract for work he cared about, in a shape that fit him better than anything he had done before, paying better than the contract that had collapsed, and in a space that used the specific combination of gifts he had been accumulating for 20 years without quite knowing what they were for. I want to be careful here. I am not telling you this story because I am promising you a contract in 90 days. I am telling you this story because every piece of what I have been describing to you tonight was in his experience. The signs, the guilt, at the threshold, the letting go, the seeing, the arrival, the reorganization of relationships, the surfacing of purpose, all of it, in one man, in one sequence, in the actual timeline of 9 months ago. And I am telling you this story because when I asked him what the core of the shift was, what the moment he would point to, he said something very specific. He said, "I stopped trying to go back to who I was. I did not try to fix myself. I let the old self rest, and I listened for what was next, and what was next arrived when I was ready for it." That is the instruction, in his words, not mine. Let the old self rest. Listen for what is next. Let what is next arrive when you are ready for it. He proved himself in silence before he announced himself in public. That is the whole sentence, and it is worth saying again, because it is the architecture of the crossing in one line. He proved himself in silence before he announced himself in public. You are in the silence right now. The proving has been happening. The announcement is coming. Breathe with me. I want to bring the image back, because it has been waiting for me to bring it back at the right moment. The image of the first warm day of the season, the day the ice lets go of the branch and does not return. You have been through winters before. You know what winter usually does. Winter makes you think it is ending, and then winter comes back. Late in March, there is a day that feels like spring, and you believe it, and you start to hope, and then the next morning it snows again, and the hope collapses, and you go back inside, and you tell yourself not to trust the warm days anymore. This Sunday is not one of those days. This Sunday is the day the warm does not retreat, not because the calendar turns over, because the internal season is over. The internal frost has melted through. There is no more frost to reassert itself. You will have other hard days in the weeks and months after this one, but they will be hard days inside a different climate. The climate will not be winter anymore. You can mark that. Some of you need to hear this more than once. The warm does not retreat this time. The warm does not retreat this time. I want to give you a moment, before we step toward the practice, to place yourself in the coming morning with more specificity, because specificity helps the recognition. If you can see the morning ahead in enough detail, your body will recognize it when it arrives, and your body recognizing it is how you step into it instead of sleeping through it. So, stay where you are. You do not have to move. You do not have to close your eyes, though you can if it is safe. You just have to let me give you a picture, and let the picture settle. Picture yourself this coming Sunday, early, not early like the alarm, early like the body woke on its own for the first time in months. You are in your bed. You notice the color of the light. You notice that the first breath is deeper than usual. You notice that your chest is not heavy. Something is gone from you that has been there for a long time, and the gone is the news. Picture yourself getting up. Your feet touch the floor. You walk to wherever the warm thing is, the kitchen, the kettle, the coffee maker, the tea cupboard. You pour something. You wrap your hands around it. You look out through whatever window your life has. The light outside has the same quality as the light inside. Everything is a little quieter than you expected. You are not rushing. You are not checking your phone. You are not thinking about the day. You are just standing there with the warmth in your hands and a stillness that is larger than any stillness you have known in recent memory. And somewhere inside that stillness, a word rises, a specific word, not the name of a task, not the name of a fear, a word that describes who you are. You have not consciously thought of the word in a long time. It may be a word you have not allowed yourself to use in your own inner speech for years. It may be a word you were taught to be suspicious of. It may be a word too large for the small rooms you have been living in. The word rises, and this time you do not push it back down. This time you let it stand. You let it be spoken silently inside you. You let the word describe you without arguing with it. You receive the word, and the receiving is the moment. The receiving is the crossing. The word is different for every chosen one. I am not going to tell you yours. Yours is yours. But the word will arrive. It will arrive on that morning or in the hours near it, and you will know it. And once you know it, you will not be able to unknow it. You will wake. You will recognize. You will no longer be able to unsee. That is the shape of this coming Sunday. And once it has happened, everything else follows. Now, before I take you into the practice that will carry you through the days between now and the morning, there is one more thing I need you to do tonight. Not tomorrow, not this weekend. Tonight, before you go to sleep, if you are watching this at a time when sleep is coming, or now, if you are watching in the middle of the day, you need to release something. You need to release what you have been carrying that is not yours to carry into the new season. The specific weight that has been hanging on your left shoulder, or in the middle of your back, or in the bottom of your stomach. Your body knows where the weight is. Do not try to figure out intellectually what it is. Just notice, for a second, where the weight has been sitting. Did you find it? Good. Now, I am going to ask you to do something inside, not outside. You do not have to move. You do not have to get up. You do not have to do anything anyone would see. Inside your mind, I want you to imagine taking that weight off, not dramatically, gently. The way you would lift a sleeping cat off your lap if you needed to stand up, slowly, so as not to startle it, carefully, with both hands. You lift the weight off wherever it has been sitting in your body, and you hold it in front of you for a second, because it has been with you a long time, and it deserves to be thanked before it goes. You thank it. You thank it for trying to keep you safe. You thank it for the years it held you together. You thank it for the exhausting, well-meaning work it has been doing. And then you set it down, not in a dramatic place, just on the floor beside you, or on the ground beside your car, or on the edge of the bed. You set it down, and you take a small step forward, and you do not pick it back up. The weight stays where you set it. You move on without it. You can do that right now, where you are, without moving, just inside. If you can feel, even a little, that the weight is now beside you instead of on you, I want you to do one thing that will seal it. Type in the comments 2 words, I release. That is all. I release. Because speaking a release into a place outside your own head, even a place as small as a comment box, anchors the release. It tells your nervous system that the release has a witness, and witnesses matter. A release with a witness is harder to take back. Type it, I release. Good. Now, listen to me. What comes next is the part where we get practical. I have shown you the signs. I have named the obstacle. I have described the morning. I have told you the story of a man who walked this exact week. And I have walked you through a release. You did the work of doing. What I have not yet given you is the one thing you do between now and Sunday. Because, while the Sunday is sealed, and while the recognition cannot be missed, there is a difference between stumbling into the morning, half awake, and stepping into the morning with your whole self ready to receive it. The difference is the practice of the week before. 7 specific days, a simple protocol that has carried other chosen ones through the final stretch in a way that multiplies the power of what arrives. I am going to give you that protocol next. It has 4 steps. Each step corresponds to a couple of days. It is counterintuitive in a way that will probably surprise you. Most people, when they are preparing for a big transition, try to add things: more meditation, more reading, more discipline, more effort, too. This protocol does the opposite. This protocol asks you to subtract, to remove, to quiet, to simplify. Because the threshold does not respond to addition, the threshold responds to stillness that has been deliberately created. I have also seen this protocol work more completely when it is paired with a specific kind of audio support that I am going to mention in its proper place. There is a piece of research connected to Dr. Robert Lake's work that I will unfold for you, because the way the brain moves across a threshold is not only spiritual, it is also physical. And there is a way to make the physical layer of the crossing cleaner so the spiritual layer can land without obstruction. For now, take a breath. We are about to step into the practical, the practice that will carry you hour by hour, from this evening until the morning. Stay with me. This is where it becomes the thing you can use. Stay with me. What I am about to give you has a name. It is called the 7th-day threshold protocol, and I want you to hear the name clearly because the name matters. Protocol, because it is a sequence, not a suggestion. 7th day, because it matches the Shabbath shape I showed you earlier, the ceasing, the completion, the arriving at the end of a sequence. Threshold, because it is what you do in the exact stretch of days when you are standing at the door. It has 4 steps. Each step is 2 days of work, except the last, which is the single Saturday evening before your Sunday. You do not skip steps. You do not rearrange them. You do not substitute your own version. The sequence is the thing. If you follow it, you will walk into the morning with your whole self ready to receive what is coming. If you do not follow it, the recognition will still happen, because the recognition is sealed, but you may stumble into it half asleep, and you will miss some of what the morning is trying to hand you. The protocol is not about making Sunday happen. The protocol is about making sure you are awake enough to catch what Sunday is already carrying to you. I want to warn you about something before I start. This protocol is going to feel counterintuitive. Every part of you that has been trained to respond to a big moment by adding more effort, more discipline, more striving, more noise. Every part of you is going to resist what I am about to ask. Because this protocol does the opposite of what most preparation does. Most preparation adds. This one subtracts. Most preparation asks you to build. This one asks you to clear. Most preparation is about doing. This one is about undoing. If you feel resistance as I walk you through it, that resistance is a signal you are receiving it correctly. The old self, the one that has been holding everything together through the long years, thinks the way to prepare for a big moment is to work harder. The old self is wrong about this one. The threshold does not reward effort. The threshold rewards stillness that has been deliberately made. So let us start with the first step, and let us walk through it together. The first 2 days of the protocol, whatever the first 2 days of your next 7 days happen to be, are for what I am going to call the Great Subtraction. The instruction is simple, and the simplicity is the hard part. For 2 days, you remove 3 things from your daily life that drain your frequency. I am going to be specific about what I mean by drain. I am not talking about things that are ordinarily unpleasant. I am not talking about the dishes or the laundry or the email you owe to your cousin. I am talking about the 3 things that your body quietly flinches at when you think about them. The 3 things that make you tired before you even start. The 3 things that leave you smaller afterward than you were before. Your list will not be my list. Your list is yours. Most people's lists have 1 social element, 1 digital element, and 1 physical or environmental element. The social element is usually a specific person or a specific kind of interaction that has been costing you more than you have been admitting. Not a person you need to cut out forever. A person whose specific phone call or specific lunch or specific group chat has been depleting you. For these 2 days, you do not take the call. You do not attend the lunch. You do not respond to the group chat. You are not abandoning the person. You are creating 2 days of space in which the specific draining interaction does not happen. If you have to explain, you can say something short. I am resting this week. That is a full sentence. It is a complete response. You do not have to justify further. The digital element is usually a specific app or platform that has been quietly running the background soundtrack of your life for months. Not all of your technology, a specific one. The one that, when you think about opening it, your shoulders rise half an inch. The one that, when you put it down, you feel a slight relief that you pretend not to feel. For 2 days, that specific app comes off the front screen of your phone. It goes into a folder in the back, or it gets logged out, or the notifications get turned off. Whatever level of subtraction makes the reach for it harder, you do not need to quit it forever. You need 2 days without it, so your nervous system can remember what the absence of it feels like. The physical or environmental element is usually a food, a drink, a space, or a time of day that has been shaping your mood without your noticing. Maybe it is the second cup of coffee that puts your hands into a slight tremor for the rest of the morning. Maybe it is the glass of wine that you think is helping you unwind, but that is actually keeping you in the loop of low-grade sadness. Maybe it is the particular corner of your house that has become the corner where you collapse and where you now feel worse every time you enter it. For 2 days, one of those comes out of the rotation. So, that is the first step. 3 subtractions, 2 days. You make a small private list in your head right now, or on a piece of paper if you have one nearby, and you notice the 3 items rising. Your body knows them already. It has been flinching at them for weeks. You are just going to agree with the flinch for 48 hours. The second step begins on day 3, and the second step is about making a specific kind of silence, because the first 2 days of subtraction will have created space, and the space needs to be occupied, not by more activity, but by a particular kind of emptiness. I am going to ask you to create, on each of days 3 and 4, a window of 90 minutes in which you do not speak, you do not consume content, and you do not produce content. No conversation, no scrolling, no writing, no messaging, no podcasts, no music with words. 90 minutes, 2 days in a row. This window does not have to be all at once, although it works better if it is. If you cannot find a 90-minute block, find 2 45-minute blocks, but the blocks have to be unbroken. A 90-minute block that gets interrupted by 1 message read and 1 quick reply is no longer a 90-minute block. It is 2 44-minute blocks, and those do not have the same effect. I am specific about 90 minutes because 90 minutes is the length of 1 full cycle of a particular brain rhythm, and during 1 full cycle, the system has time to completely shift its mode. Shorter windows do not complete the shift. The window has to be long enough for your mind to get bored of its usual chatter, quiet down, and begin to hear underneath. Most people report that the first 30 minutes are uncomfortable. The second 30 minutes are where something softens. The last 30 minutes are where the real work begins. During the window, you are doing one of 3 things. You can sit still, you can walk, without a destination and without a phone. Or you can lie down with your eyes closed. That is it. You are not trying to meditate in any technical sense. You are not trying to reach any state. You are simply creating a container in which your system is not being asked to respond to anything from the outside. Thoughts will come. Let them come. Thoughts will go. Let them go. You are not managing the thoughts. You are making space inside of which the thoughts stop running the show. 2 days of 1 90-minute window each. That is the second step. By the end of day 4, you will notice that the volume of your own inner voice has changed. It is quieter. It is clearer. It is less reactive. Something underneath it has started to surface, and that something is the ground we are preparing for the third step. The third step begins on day 5, and the third step is the one that has broken something open in every single chosen one I have watched walk through this. On day 5 and day 6, you are going to do a practice. I am going to call the name practice. Here is what you do. Once each day, ideally at a similar time on both days, you sit down for 15 minutes. Not 30, not 5, 15. You have a pen and a piece of paper, or a blank document you can type on, if that works better for you. At the top of the page, you write 1 question. The question is this: what is the name of who I am becoming? Then you sit with that question, not the question of what you want to do next, not the question of what you want to accomplish, the question of what you are becoming. A name, a word, a description that feels less like a resume and more like a shape. You may write nothing for the first 10 minutes. You may write words you cross out. You may write things that sound silly and embarrass you. That is all fine. You are not producing a deliverable. You are listening for the name. The name is not your birth name. The name is not your job title. The name is not a new social media handle. The name is the shape of the you that has been forming underneath the surface. It might be a single word. It might be a short phrase. It might be a fragment, like a poem. It might be something as simple as the one who stays soft, or the builder of quiet rooms, or the hands that keep opening, or the one who finally listens. It will be different for every chosen one. because every chosen one is becoming a specific shape, and the name matches the shape. You do this for 15 minutes on day 5. You put the paper away. You do it again for 15 minutes on day 6, at roughly the same time. You do not read day 5 before starting day 6. You start fresh. You let the name come to you each day on its own. What happens across these 2 days is that the name starts to clarify. The day 5 version may be a little vague. The day 6 version will be sharper. By the end of day 6, you will have a shape that you can carry into day 7. The reason this works is simple. The name anchors the emergence. Something in you has been becoming something, and the becoming has been going on invisibly because it has had no word attached to it. When you give the becoming a word, even a private one, even a word no one else will ever see, you make it possible for your system to recognize itself. You go from a vague fog of change to a specific shape of change, and a specific shape is something you can walk into. A fog is something you can only wander through. And then comes the 7th day, the Saturday evening before your Sunday, the 4th step, the capstone. On Saturday evening, somewhere between sunset and sleep, you are going to do the final piece of the protocol. It is called the threshold declaration, and it is the moment the whole week comes to a point. You take the name you found during the name practice. You take it in both hands, metaphorically, and you write a single statement about who you are stepping into on Sunday morning. The statement has 3 parts, and it is specific and it is short. The first part is what you are leaving behind, not a list, one thing. The core weight you have been carrying through this formation season. Write it in 1 sentence. I am leaving behind the weight of needing to be the one who holds everything together for everyone. Or, I am leaving behind the shape of smallness I was taught to wear. Or, I am leaving behind the fear of being seen. Whatever yours is, 1 sentence. The second part is what you are stepping into. The name you found in the name practice, in 1 sentence. I am stepping into the one who stays soft. Or, I am stepping into the builder of quiet rooms. Whatever yours is, your name, phrased as a stepping into. The third part is a single sentence about what you will do with this new shape. Not a career plan, not a life map, just how will this new shape of you move through the world in its first week. I will listen before I speak. I will ask for what I want without apology. I will rest without earning it. I will say no without explaining. I will say yes to the things my body says yes to. So, 3 sentences: leaving, stepping into, first movement, written by hand if possible. On paper, you keep somewhere you can find it. On Sunday morning, when you wake, before you pick up anything else, you read those 3 sentences out loud, just to yourself, just quietly. Not for anyone, not to impress anything. You read them out loud because speaking them moves them from your inner voice into the air of the room, and the air of the room is where the transition crosses from imagination to reality. The mouth sealing the paper is the match that lights the morning. That is the 4th step. That is the whole protocol. 7 days, 4 steps. Subtraction, silence, name, declaration. Take a breath with me. Good. Now I want to tell you one more thing before we go into the next section, because there is something that amplifies every single step of this protocol in a way that I would not be telling you the whole truth if I left it out. Remember, earlier in this message, I mentioned a physician named Dr. Robert Lake, whose work sits at the center of some of the research that has been describing, in measurable terms, what happens inside the brain and the nervous system during threshold seasons. I told you we would come back to him. We are coming back to him now. Here is the piece that matters. When a chosen one is standing at the threshold, there is a specific brain rhythm called gamma. Gamma is the fastest of the measurable brain rhythms, and it is the rhythm associated with moments of deep insight, moments of clear seeing, moments when the inner voice finally breaks through the noise. In most adults in modern life, gamma has gone quiet, not because it is broken, because the ambient noise of the culture we live in keeps the nervous system in a lower rhythm almost all the time. The lower rhythm is useful for routine tasks. It is not useful for crossing a threshold. Dr. Lake's work, conducted with measurements done at laboratories including at MIT and at Princeton, has traced what happens when the gamma rhythm is deliberately reawakened. And what happens is that the internal events I have been describing to you tonight, the quieting of the Civil War, the clarifying of the new name, the surfacing of the purpose, all of those happen faster and cleaner and with less resistance. The spiritual work was always going to happen. The audio support makes the spiritual work physically easier to receive. The tool he created for this is called the Genius Song. It is an audio track grounded in decades of brainwave research, designed to gently bring the gamma rhythm back online. It is not a substitute for the protocol I just gave you. It is a support to it. If you pair the Genius Song with the 7-day protocol, the subtraction days feel easier, the silent windows go deeper, the name practice clarifies faster, and the threshold declaration on Saturday evening lands with an audible weight. I want to name the things that usually come up when a tool like this gets mentioned, and I want to address them plainly. Some of you have tried things, meditations, apps, sound baths, healing frequencies from different sources, and some of them helped a little, and some of them did nothing, and by now you have a reasonable skepticism about anything that claims to affect the mind through audio. I respect that skepticism. It is earned. The difference with what Dr. Lake built is that it does not ask your mind to do the work of changing itself from the inside. It uses a principle called brain entrainment, which is the nervous system's tendency to sync its own rhythm to a rhythm being played from the outside. Meditation asks the mind to slow itself. Entrainment plays a rhythm the mind syncs to. One is slower and less certain, the other is faster and measurable. The difference in mechanism is the reason you can try this, and it can work, even if other things did not. Some of you are hearing this and wondering if it sounds too good to be true. I understand. The good news is that the proof does not have to come from me. The measurements have been taken in laboratory settings. The results repeat. More than 18,000 people have listened and reported the changes. The question is not, do I believe the claim? The question is, does the data exist? The data exists. And some of you, I know, are thinking about the cost. I want to be honest about that before I even mention a number. $39 is not nothing to everyone who is listening to this tonight. I would never disrespect the situation anyone is in. So, let me be clear that nothing I am about to say is a pressure. It is a calibration. Let me show you what the calibration is. If you wanted to do the same work the traditional way, you would be looking at biofeedback sessions that run $300 an hour. You would be looking at home devices that start around $7,000. You would be looking at meditation and coaching programs that charge somewhere between $100 and $200 every month. Those are the ordinary prices. The number Dr. Lake settled on for this audience is different. The number is $39, one time, not a subscription, which, if you wanted to measure it the uncomfortable way, is a little more than 10 cents a day across the span of 1 year, and then nothing after that, forever. And because the work is guaranteed with a full refund window, the financial risk, strictly speaking, is zero. The risk is not in trying. The risk is in not trying. One more note before I leave this. Every day you keep the internal gamma rhythm quiet is a day the work of the formation stays slightly harder than it needs to be. A day your relationships stay a little more tense than they need to be. A day your prayers reach a little less deeply than they could. Not a crisis, not an emergency. Just a day you could have been living closer to your own center and instead lived slightly outside of it. The person you are becoming after this Sunday is already looking back at this week, and the thing that person will notice is not a dramatic decision, but a small choice made in a quiet moment that made the crossing easier. You do not have to make the choice perfectly. You only have to make it correctly. The decision to begin is the whole decision. If any part of what I just said resonates with where you are, the link for the Genius song is in the description of this message and in the first pinned comment. Only follow it if your spirit bears witness. Only if the quiet part of you inside, the one that has been guiding you through this whole message, leans forward. Not because I said so, because the leaning forward is yours. And now, let me return us to the teaching, because the protocol and the tool are not the center of this message, they are supports. The center of this message is you, and what is about to happen in you on Sunday, and who you are already becoming. Take a breath with me. Remember when I told you earlier that Sunday is not the arrival, Sunday is the recognition. I want to show you what recognition actually feels like from the inside. Because there is a difference between hearing a word used in a message and feeling the word unlock something inside your own chest. And we are about to feel the word, not just hear it. Stay with me. The next stretch of this message is where the protocol gets placed inside the larger story, where your week gets put back inside your whole life, where the practical gets folded back into the sacred. Because you did not come tonight for a technique. You came for the thing the technique serves. The thing is coming. Do not leave yet. The part we are about to walk into is the reason the earlier parts of this message needed to be as long and careful as they were. Everything was foundation. What comes next is what the foundation was built to hold. Good, you are still here. That matters more than you know. I want to stop for one moment before I take us into the deeper part of what is coming, because there is something your mind needs that your spirit has already moved past, and if I do not give it to your mind will keep catching on the gear and slowing everything else down. So let me do something simple for the next 90 seconds or so. Let me say back to you, in plain words, with no metaphors, the thing this whole message has been trying to show you. Because sometimes the way you know you have actually learned something is when you can hear it stated plainly and you recognize it as yours. Here is why this season has felt so heavy. The old version of you has been laying itself down over the last stretch of months. The laying down takes energy. The energy it takes is what has been making you tired. It is not a failure of your body. It is the cost of a quiet handoff happening inside you. The heaviness has been the physical weight of a transfer in progress. Here is what you have actually learned in this message so far. You learned to recognize 7 signs your body has been giving you for weeks. You learned that the guilt you have been feeling about becoming someone new is a signal, not an instruction. You learned that a specific Sunday is the day the transfer completes. And you learned a 4-step protocol: subtraction, silence, name, declaration, that carries you cleanly across the 7 days between now and then. Here is who you are. You are a chosen one, standing in the final hours of a 4th pass formation season. The season has done its work. The work is ready to surface. You are not at the start of something. You are at the completion of something, and the completion is the start of the next thing. Those are the three things: why, what, who. Hold them for 1 second. Not to memorize them, just to let them settle in a place in your mind that does not need to argue with them anymore. The part of you that has been asking, "Can I trust this?" is allowed to sit down now. The answer is yes. The answer is earned. The answer is in your body already, and your mind is just catching up. Good. Now breathe with me. I want to take another moment here, because you have been listening for a long time, and your body deserves to be acknowledged for it. Most of you are in some kind of posture right now that you have been in for close to an hour. Your shoulders have a specific tension, your jaw has a specific set. Your breath has been shallower than you may have realized, because deep listening does that to the breath. It pulls it up into the chest so the ears can reach further. I want you to take one breath that is not for me, not for the message, not for the work we are doing. A breath that is just for your body, which has been carrying you through the last hour without complaint. Slow, through the nose, all the way down to where the ribs meet the belly. Hold it there for 1 count. And let it out through the mouth like a small sigh. Good. There is no next step for that breath. There is no deeper meaning to extract. I just wanted you to have a moment that was not being used for anything. A moment that was only yours. Most of the hours of most of your days get used for something. This breath does not get used. This breath is the one that stays yours. Okay, I want to come back to something now that has been sitting underneath this whole message. I said earlier that the heavy years were not delay, they were design. I said the silence was strategy. I said the failure was foundation. I said the invisibility was incubation. And I said, later, that a specific year in your recent past was the year the seed was planted. I want to bring all of that together now, because the together of it is the thing you came here to see. Your life has not been a series of separate chapters with a vague through line. Your life has been a single sentence, slowly being written. The heavy years were paragraphs inside the sentence. The specific year was the comma where the sentence turned. And this Sunday is the word at the end that makes the whole sentence finally make sense. Think about what that means for a minute. It means the stuff you could not understand while it was happening was not nonsense. It was context. It was context for a sentence you had not yet heard the ending of. The loss that felt random was a preparation for the arrival that felt impossible. The people who came and went were not accidents of social geography. They were characters in the sentence. Some of them were punctuation, some of them were the subject, some of them were the adjective you needed to describe the thing you were becoming. Every one of them was necessary for the sentence to have the shape it has. This is the piece most people miss about the fourth pass. The fourth pass is when the sentence becomes legible. You spend the first 3 passes inside a text you cannot read. You walk through it. You feel it. You suffer through it in places, but you cannot make out the meaning. In the fourth pass, the fog starts to lift. Not all the way, not yet. But enough that you can see the shape of the grammar for the first time. You can feel where the subject was. You can feel where the verb was. You can feel where the object, the thing you are becoming, is about to be. And when the fourth pass completes, which is what Sunday is, the entire sentence becomes readable. You look back at the last decade, and you do not see a pile of events anymore. You see a structure, a deliberate one, a beautiful one that you did not write, because no one can write their own life, but one that was being written while you were busy surviving. You see the hand of the writer in the pattern of the events. You see the care. You see the mercy underneath the hard parts. You see that you were never alone on the page. I want you to let that image sit with you for a second. Your life as a single sentence. Your story not as a chaos, but as a structure. The last decade, not as an accident, but as composition. If you have been exhausted by trying to make sense of the last 10 years, here is the release you have been waiting for. You do not have to make sense of it. The sense is going to make itself. The sense is about to become visible. Your job was not to figure out the plot. Your job was to be in it. You have been in it. You have been faithful to your place in it. That is enough. The plot will close itself on Sunday. Now I want to tell you who you are, not in a general way, in a specific way. I have been walking around this all message, and I have hinted at it, and I have given you pieces of it, but I have not yet said the thing directly. So, I am going to say it now, and I want you to receive it without your usual defenses up. You are a chosen one. I know you know that. It is the word we have used for this whole message. But I want you to hear the weight the word is carrying tonight, because tonight the word is heavier than it usually is. A chosen one, in the old sense of the phrase, is not someone who is better than other people. A chosen one is not someone whose path is easier. A chosen one is not someone who was given a sign they are holy. A chosen one is someone whose formation has a specific shape, given for a specific purpose, and the purpose is not primarily for the chosen one. The purpose is for the others. The chosen one is the one who walks through a specific fire, not because they deserved the fire, but because they will be able to carry, on the other side of the fire, a specific medicine that the people around them will need. That is who you are. You are someone who has been walking through a specific fire for a specific reason, and the reason is not you. The reason is them, the ones you will meet on the other side. The ones who are coming into your life in the weeks and months after this Sunday. The ones who will look at you in a moment when they are collapsing and see something in you that gives them a half-second of hope. That half-second of hope will be a thing they can hold on to, and you will be the one holding it out for them, because you will have it. You have been wondering, sometimes, why the hard parts of your life have been so specific, why this exact kind of betrayal, why this exact kind of isolation, why this exact kind of weight. The answer is that those exact kinds of experiences were the training. You were being trained to recognize those exact kinds of experiences in other people from the inside, so that when you meet those people, you are not guessing, you know. And knowing is the difference between helpful and hollow. A person who has been through what another person is going through and has come out the other side can hand something across the space between them that no book can hand and no stranger can hand. That thing is presence, earned, specific, lived presence. That is the medicine, and you have it now. You are about to be handed to people who need exactly your version of it. And here is the other piece, the one that is harder to say without it sounding too large. You were not an accident. You are not replaceable. There is no understudy. The specific combination of your experiences, your sensitivities, your failures, your instincts, your voice, your body, your memory, your way of loving, your way of doubting, your way of returning after you have fallen away. That specific combination was assembled on purpose, for a specific slot in a specific moment in history. The slot will not be filled by anyone else, because the slot was shaped to your shape. If you step fully into who you are becoming, you occupy the slot. The slot was made for an occupier. It has been waiting for you to be ready, and this Sunday, you are ready. I know how this sounds. Part of you wants to soften it. Part of you wants to say, well, yes, every person is unique. Everyone has value. I do not want to be arrogant. I hear that part. It has been trained to lower the volume on language like this. I am asking you to let the volume stay loud for 1 minute. You are not arrogant for being the thing you are. The thing you are has a shape. The shape is not better than other shapes. It is simply the shape that was given to you. Refusing the shape is not humility. Refusing the shape is a quiet form of abandonment of yourself and also of the people the shape was meant to meet. Stop abandoning. Step into the shape. Breathe with me. I am going to speak 5 sentences over you now. I want you to receive them the way you would receive water after a long walk. Not with analysis, with thirst. They are sentences of identity. They are sentences that name the specific you that is about to wake up this coming Sunday. I am not going to tell you which one is the truest for you. Your body will tell you. When a sentence lands in the exact place in your chest that has been aching, you will feel it land. That is the one that is most yours. Take one more breath. I am the one who finally stopped waiting for someone else to give me permission. I am the one whose silence has become the loudest thing in the room because it is no longer nervous. I am the one who knows how to stay soft in a world that taught me to get hard to survive. I am the one who carries the old me home and lays her down gently because she deserved to be laid down, not left behind. I am the one who has been becoming for so long that the becoming itself is the name. Let those sit. One of those just did something in your body. You know which one. You do not need to tell anyone. You do not need to write it down yet. Just notice which one caused the small internal shift. That sentence is carrying a piece of your new name inside it. Keep the sentence. Return to it during the protocol week. The name practice will bring the rest of the name out around the core that sentence just laid. I am going to say them once more, slower this time, because repetition is how the body decides a thing is real. I am the one who finally stopped waiting for someone else to give me permission. I am the one whose silence has become the loudest thing in the room because it is no longer nervous. I am the one who knows how to stay soft in a world that taught me to get hard to survive. I am the one who carries the old me home and lays her down gently because she deserved to be laid down, not left behind. I am the one who has been becoming for so long that the becoming itself is the name. If any of those broke something open in you and you want to mark the moment, here is what you can do. Do not type, I agree. Do not type, I will try. Type 3 words, I am ready. Not as a promise to me, as a declaration to yourself. Say it in your heart first, so your body hears you say it. Then, let your hands say it by typing it. I am ready. Say it with the force of a person who has been preparing for this week for longer than they knew. Go ahead, mark the moment. Good. Now, I want to say something that has to be said before we step into the closing of this message, because the closing is not going to be ordinary, and I want you to know it is not going to be ordinary, so you are ready for what it is going to be. Every message that has arrived in your life, up until this one, has probably ended with a wish, some version of, I hope things go well for you, a good luck, a blessing. A nice sentence that lets you close the experience and get on with your day. I am not going to do that with you tonight. Not because I do not want good things for you, because what I want for you is too specific and too large for a wish. What I am going to do at the end of this message is speak something over your life that is closer to a seal than to a wish. A seal in the old sense, not a signature, a pressing of a shape into the soft part of your spirit that leaves a mark that stays after the message is over, something that carries you into Sunday as if the declaration had been spoken over your forehead while you slept. I want you to know this in advance so you can prepare yourself to receive it, not in a solemn way, in a soft, open way, the way you prepare to receive a long hug from someone who has not seen you in a year. The way you prepare to stand still when a child runs toward you across a room, a relaxed kind of ready, not braced, not performing, just available. And I need you to stay all the way through to the end of it, because if you leave before the seal is spoken, the seal still goes out into the world, but you miss being in the room when it was spoken over you. The speaking goes through you. It does not wait. You do not get to come back and catch it later. The only way to be sealed is to be present for the sealing. So take this breath with me and promise yourself you will stay through the closing. No phone, no check of the time, no standing up to do something real quick. Just this for the rest of the way. The most important part of this entire message is the part that is still coming. Before we cross into it, I want to do one last thing. I want to give you the image that has been carrying this whole message, so you have it in your hands as we step into the final room. The image is of the first warm day of the season, not the false warm day in the middle of March that gets taken back by the snow on Wednesday. The real warm day. The day after which the warm does not retreat. The day the ice, quietly, without announcement, lets go of the branch for the last time and becomes water and runs into ground that has been waiting. That day has a name. Its name is the day the season changed. Most people live their whole lives and can never point to which day their season changed. Most people can only point to years. They can say, sometime in the fall of that year, I started to feel different, but I cannot tell you the day. That kind of vagueness is how most seasonal changes arrive for most people, not for you. Not this time. This time you are being given the rare gift of a specific day. You are being told in advance that on this upcoming Sunday, the change crosses over. You are being given a date, not because your life is more important than other people's lives, because you have become still enough to receive a date, and because the work that has been happening in you has become ready enough to crystallize on a specific morning. The ground beneath you has been softening for weeks. The frost has been letting go slowly in places you have not been able to see. The water is already beginning to run in channels underneath the surface where the old self cannot hear it, but the new self can. Everything is in position. The day is close. You are close. Take one breath, slower than you have taken all evening, and follow me across the threshold. The sealing is about to begin. Take a breath with me, soft. I want you to notice, before we begin the closing, that you have walked a long distance tonight, not on a map, inside. You started this message in one shape, and you are not in that shape anymore. Something moved in you between the beginning and here. I am not going to name it for you. You know what moved. You felt it move. And the thing that moved is what we are about to seal. So, before I do the sealing, I want to stand in the quiet for a moment with you, because the sealing does not happen in noise. The sealing happens in a particular kind of stillness, and we have to enter the stillness first. Notice where you are right now. Not the room, the you. Notice what your shoulders are doing. Notice what your breath is doing. Notice the small change in the way your chest holds itself compared to where it was when you pressed play. The change is not imaginary. Your body registered every word that landed. Your body does not keep records like your mind keeps records. Your body keeps records in its muscles, in its breath, in the set of its jaw, in the small softness around the eyes. Look for the small softness. It is there. The ground you are standing on right now is already softer than it was an hour ago. I mean that literally, and also the other way. The internal ground of you has been quietly thawing all evening. The frost you came in with has given up some of its grip. The water underneath has begun to move. This is not hope. This is physics. An hour of the right kind of listening changes the inner weather of a person, and your inner weather has been changing for the last hour. I am not going to pretend I did that. You did that. You chose to stay. You chose to keep breathing with me. You chose to receive each section when you could have closed this at any point. That staying is what let the inner weather shift. So, thank you for staying. I want to pause here and let my gratitude toward you sit in the air for a second, because I mean it more than the words are able to carry. You did not have to spend this hour with me. You chose to. And the choosing matters. In a world where choosing to stay has become a rare thing, you stayed. Something in you kept saying yes. And every time you said yes, a little more of the new self had room to come forward. The new self is most of the way here now. You brought her, mostly, by staying. Good. Now we do the releasing. I want you to find, in your body, right now, the specific place where the old weight has been sitting. You already did part of this earlier in the message, but this time, I want you to find the deepest layer of it, not the surface weight, the core weight. The one underneath all the smaller weights. The one your whole system has been built around, like a house is built around its central beam. Take your time finding it. It is usually in one of three places. The middle of the chest, right behind the breastbone, where you used to rest your forehead against walls when you were alone and tired. The back of the neck, at the base of the skull, where your body has been holding the weight of being the one who has to stay alert. Or the lower belly, a few inches below the navel, where your body has been holding the weight of all the things you could not say out loud. Which of the three is it for you? Do not overthink. Let your body answer. You found it. I want you to know what that weight actually is, because it is not going to go easily if you think of it as bad. The weight is not bad. The weight is old. The weight is the part of you that was strong enough to carry the whole house on its shoulders when the house was about to fall down, and that version of you saved your life. The weight is the carried shape of the saver. It earned its place. It earned the right to be there, and now it gets to be done. So, we are not going to force it off. We are going to thank it and give it a place to land, and let it go with a kind of formal respect. In your mind, see the weight. Give it a shape if that helps. Some people see it as a stone. Some people see it as a child. Some people see it as a shadow. Whatever shape yours has, it has the shape it has. Now lift it, not hard, gently, with two hands. Hold it in front of you. Look at it. Say, quietly, inside yourself, "You kept me alive. Thank you." And then, set it down. Not far, just on the floor beside you, or the ground beside the car, or the surface of the bed. Set it down within your line of sight so you can see where it is. It is not your enemy. It is your veteran. It deserves to be seen one more time before you walk past it. And then, in your mind, take one step forward. One step, not 100 steps. One step, and the weight stays where you set it. The weight does not come with you. The weight has earned its rest. That is the release. Let one breath come in slow. Good. Now I want you to do something with me that is going to feel unusual, and I want you to trust it, because the unusualness is part of how it works. In your mind, I want you to stand up. Even if you are lying down right now, even if you are sitting in a car, or at a desk, or on a couch, your physical body does not have to move. Inside your mind, I want you to stand up. The standing is happening on the inside. The outside can stay exactly where it is. Your inside self is standing now. Take a second to feel that. Now, I want you to walk your inside self forward, one slow step at a time, toward a door that is about 10 feet in front of you. Do not picture the door in too much detail. Let it be simple. A door. Any color, any kind of wood or stone or light. The door is closed. It is not locked. It is just closed. It is closed because you have not opened it yet. Keep walking, slow. Each step takes you an inch closer. There is something important about the door. The door is not the entrance to some distant future. The door is the entrance to Sunday morning. The Sunday that is coming. The specific Sunday we have been talking about all evening. That morning is on the other side of this door. You are a few steps away from it. Right now, in this moment of your inside life. Take one more step. Now another. You are at the door. Put your hand on the door. Feel it. Not too firmly. Just enough for the door to know you are there. The door has been waiting for you to arrive for longer than you may realize. Part of it has been waiting since the year the seed was planted. Part of it has been waiting since the first sign began to show in your body. Part of it has been waiting since you pressed play on this message tonight. The door is not surprised to see you. The door has been expecting you. Your hand on it is the last thing it was waiting for. Now breathe with me, one breath, deep. And push the door open. You are standing in the doorway now, not yet through it. Standing at the exact edge, the threshold. Your front foot is in the morning, your back foot is still in tonight. You can feel both rooms at the same time. The room behind you is the room of the long formation. The room in front of you is the room of the new self, already dressed, already breathing, already softly lit by the specific color of light that only Sunday mornings have. You can smell the morning through the door. You can hear the quiet of it. You can feel the warmth of it against your face. And someone is standing in the morning. The you that is becoming. She is facing you. He is facing you. The future version of you. Looking back at this moment. Looking back at this exact version of you. The one who has been listening for an hour. The one whose shoulders dropped 3 times during this message. The one who did not leave when things got hard. Look at that future you. Do not look away. Let the recognition happen. That is you. That is who you are becoming. And the you that is becoming has been watching this moment for a long time, because this moment is when it became possible for her to exist. You are being met by the version of you that your life has been building. Let that meeting happen. Feel your feet at the threshold. Feel both rooms. Feel the recognition. Now, listen. And I hear the Father saying, to whoever needed to hear these words at this exact hour, with a voice that does not shake and does not apologize, you are not who you were when you pressed play on this message, and you are not going back to who you were. The one I have been forming, the one I have been carrying through the silent years, the one I have been hiding inside the appearance of an ordinary life, so that no one would damage the thing I was building. That one is standing at the door with me now, and on this coming Sunday, I am bringing her all the way through. I did not put you through the long formation to leave you at the edge. I did not plant the seed to let it rot. I did not walk with you through the wilderness to lose you on the last mile. The crossing is mine to make. The timing is mine to hold. You only have to be willing to be brought across. And I feel your willingness. I feel it in your breath. I feel it in your staying. I feel it in the small courage of the yes you have been whispering inside yourself all night. It is received. It is enough. The crossing is sealed. Do not say the closing word yet. Stay here, in the doorway, in the breath. I want you to sit with what was just spoken for 60 seconds. Nothing new is going to happen in that 60 seconds. That is the point. The 60 seconds are for the words to settle down into the body where they were being sent. Words sent to the body need a little time to arrive. Do not rush them. Do not move. Just let them come all the way home. Breathe slowly. Keep the doorway in your mind. Keep the morning in your face. Keep the future you in your line of sight. Good. You can lower the intensity now, but do not close the door. The door stays open. The door does not close again. That is the whole point of this kind of door. Once you open it, it does not close behind you. Whatever happens in the rest of your week, whatever the next few days bring, whatever distraction or fatigue or complication shows up, the door stays open. You will walk through it this Sunday. The walking through is already set. It is done. Now I want to say something, softly, before we enter the last stretch of this message, because there is something you need to know that is not about you alone. You are not the only one standing at this threshold tonight. All across the world, right now, in every time zone, in every language, in every kind of life circumstance you can imagine, other chosen ones are standing exactly where you are standing. Some of them are listening to words like these in their own language. Some of them are sitting in a quiet room. Some of them are driving down a highway. Some of them are in beds with sleeping partners beside them. Some of them are in hospital rooms. Some of them are in kitchens. Some of them are hearing nothing but their own inner voice, which finally got quiet enough to hear itself. But all of them are crossing at the same moment. All of them are meeting the future version of themselves at the same door. You are part of a generation of the seventh day. Your crossing is your own, and it is also part of a larger crossing that is happening quietly all around the planet in millions of private rooms, without fanfare, without newspaper coverage, without a label the ordinary world will recognize until after it has already happened. This is what makes your crossing larger than it looks from the inside. You are not only walking into the next season of your own life, you are part of a wave. The wave has been building for a while, and the wave is about to crest. Your life is one point in it. Your life is a light that joins with other lights, and together those lights make a pattern that the dark cannot fully hide. So, if you have a moment, in the quiet of this message, to remember that, remember it. You are not alone. You have not been alone. You will not be alone on Sunday. Now I am going to close with you, but not in the way you might expect, because there are a few things I still have to hand you before you leave. Small things, but the right things. First thing, stay a breath longer than feels necessary before you move back into your day. Not for any spiritual reason, because your body has just been through a transition. You need a small runway before you stand back up into the speed of your life. Breathe. Let the heart settle. Let the air of this room resettle. Do not jump. Second thing, one final observation I need to share with you before we close, because it has been on my mind since about halfway through this message, and it is this. You are not the person who pressed play on this message. I know I have said it before, but I am going to say it again, because the body needs it twice. You are not the same. Something about the way you hold this phone, or this screen, or this speaker, is different from the way you were holding it when you started. Your hand position has changed. Your face has changed. The quality of your attention has changed. You have been moved. Do not undo the moving by jumping back into your regular pace too fast. Let the moving stay. Third thing, if you have a moment to think about someone else before we close out, I want to invite you to do one small act that is not about you. Somewhere, in your contacts or in your memory, there is a person who has been walking through their own hard season, whose winter has been too long, who has been waking up at strange hours, who has been pretending to be fine when they are not. The name of that person is rising in you right now, even if you did not consciously go looking for it. That person needs something tonight that you can give them with very little effort. They need to know they are not alone. Send them this message, not with a long explanation, not with a big setup, just send it. A short note is enough. I thought of you. This helped me. You might need this. Something simple. Something that says, I see you. Something that tells them, in a world that has been indifferent to their long, quiet suffering, that they have been seen by at least one other person tonight. That act, that small tap, that small send, is part of the reason this message reached you. Someone, at some point in your life, did that kind of act for you without you knowing they did. A word arrived in your path because someone was willing to pass it forward. You are now the one with the word in your hand. Pass it forward. Someone else is on the other end of the passing. You can be the reason their Sunday gets what your Sunday is about to get. Fourth thing, if anything we discussed earlier felt like it was for you, in the deep part that does not need to be convinced, the tool is in the description and the pinned comment. Only if your spirit still agrees. There is no pressure in the timing. The timing is yours. Fifth thing, if you have been helped by what has happened tonight, stay close. More is being prepared. The rhythm of this is not finished. The message that comes next is already in motion, and it is already shaped for the season you are entering. Do not wander too far. The next one will arrive at the right time, the way this one did. Okay. Last thing, and then I am going to let you go. I want you to carry one image with you into your Sunday, because it is the image that holds all the work we did tonight, and it is the image that holds the future I have been describing, and it is the image that holds the you that is about to wake up. Close your eyes if it is safe. Do not close them if you are driving. If you are driving, just let your inside self close its eyes. It is early on that Sunday morning. You are standing in your kitchen. Your hand is wrapped around something warm. The light coming through the window has that specific softness. Your chest is not heavy. The house is quiet, and there is the first warm thing of the season arriving through the window, not retreating this time, settling into the ground that has been waiting. And the door you opened a few minutes ago, in your mind, is still open. You walked through it. You are the one in the kitchen now. The future you and the present you are the same you. They became the same you while you were sleeping. The one who met, the one who was becoming, and there was no difference between them anymore, and the oneness of them was the quiet you now feel in your chest. You are not in a metaphor anymore. You are in the morning. That is where you are going to wake up this Sunday. Hold the image. Take one breath with it. Good. Some of you will close this message and feel something you cannot yet name. Some of you will close this message and cry without understanding why. Some of you will close this message and fall asleep more deeply than you have slept in months. Some of you will close this message and go do something ordinary. And halfway through the ordinary thing, something in your chest will soften, and you will remember what was spoken over you, and you will keep the softness. All of it is correct. There is no wrong way to leave this room. The only thing I ask of you is that you do not forget. Not the image, not the name, not the date, not the protocol, not the seal, and not the you that is about to become. You are not leaving a message tonight. You are leaving a season. Walk into your Sunday with the weight already laid down. Walk into your Sunday with the door already open. Walk into your Sunday with the name already rising. And carry with you, as you go, the quiet knowledge that the one you have been becoming has already met you at the threshold, and the two of you are now one, and the one is you, and the you is whole, and the whole is the thing you have been waiting for. I will see you on the other side.